the mission of a U.S., Japanese, Russian crew on the International Space Station because of a medical issue. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman.
I've come to the decision that it's in the best interest of our astronauts to return Crew 11 ahead of their planned departure.
Chief Medical Officer James Polk says the crew member is stable and it is not an emergency, but more tests are needed.
The medical incident was sufficient enough that we were concerned about the astronaut, that we would like to complete that workup. And the best way to complete that workup is on the ground.
He said the issue had nothing to do with the operational environment or the preparations for a spacewalk, which has now been canceled.
In the U.S. House.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 196. The bill is passed. And while
a bill to extend expired health care subsidies through the Affordable Care Act passes. It's a rebuke of House Speaker Mike Johnson, who tried to stop it. The Congressional Budget Office said the proposed 3-year extension would increase the nation's deficit by about $80 billion over the decade and increase the number of people by health insurance by millions. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, President Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance described yesterday's deadly shooting of a woman by an ICE agent as self-defense. But the mayor and governor dispute that, citing videos from the scene. CBS's Nicole Skanga is in Minneapolis.
The agent involved in the shooting was not new to the job, had 10 years experience, was based in the Minneapolis area, and was a member of the special response team. So a lot of questions regarding if the agent followed protocol when he first approached that vehicle. The FBI is looking into this and is now leading the investigation.
In which Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says state and local authorities should be included.
The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the BCA, spent the day yesterday attempting to get that accountability. We have learned that the Trump administration has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation.
Protests against ICE have spread from coast to coast. 5 Republicans in the U.S. Senate have joined with Democrats to move forward a resolution related to the War Powers Act. It would block President Trump from using further military force in Venezuela. In a Truth Social post, the president called out the Republicans, including Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who drew up the resolution.
You know, this debate is bigger than this particular president. I've had the same opinion under President Obama, President Biden, the last President Trump.
Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street today. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KIRO Newsradio Traffic Alert.
Big issue on I-5 in the South Sound. Let's get to Nate Conrads at the traffic desk.
All right, Aaron. Yeah, it's in Federal Way, northbound I-5 and South 288th. 4 right lanes are blocked by this collision. This is right where we have maintenance crews working on the right shoulder. It hasn't been confirmed but it looks like from the camera that maybe this vehicle struck one of our maintenance vehicles. Only the HOV lane is open at this time, and that northbound backup starts at South 320th. South 5 is backed up all the way into South Center. Federal Way to Seattle is taking 35 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way is at 45 minutes. Now, the Valley Freeway might start getting busier as drivers decide to ditch I-5. Right now, Renton to Puyallup is 45 minutes. Northbound 167 is wide open. And really, outside of this major traffic alert, the rest of our commute's looking really good, relatively light volumes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. A federal immigration raid in Seattle is drawing criticism from city council members. Among them, Bob Kettle, who says masked ICE agents confronted 3 men at a Home Depot on Aurora Avenue yesterday and chased them into a cemetery.
It's sad to me that they're masked up and basically in full gear. You know, as a veteran of Iraq in Baghdad 0304, I don't think we need full battle rattle at the Home Depot on Aurora.
Seattle police say they heard from citizens about what looked like an armed abduction. It is unclear why the 3 men were detained. We have reached out to ICE for comments. A Shoreline teen pleads not guilty to killing a 15-year-old Bellevue High School freshman. King County prosecutors charged 17-year-old Kamario Onaki as an adult with the killing of Ajane Brooks last June. Casey McNerthy with the King County Prosecutor's Office says the girl's body was found in Snoqualmie 3 days after she went missing.
The defendant is accused of not only brutally beating and killing a 15-year-old, but also within days assaulting another young female victim.
Onaki is also charged with human trafficking and assault, bail set at $5 million. An investigation into a Bothell woman's death that spanned multiple counties and months has now come to an end. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun explains.
Police believe they found the man who killed Mallory Barber. The Mason County Sheriff's Office has arrested a 45-year-old Bremerton man. We have been following this case since June when she was reported missing from her home in Bothell. Her body was found in October on a logging road in Mason County. We're still waiting to learn about the suspect's identity. We're also trying to figure out exactly what his connection was to Barber.
More than 100 cats have been taken from just one home in Buckley. Officer Jared Howell says all the cats survived, but the state of the home was deplorable.
Many of the cats are suffering from a variety of health conditions, and several were transported immediately to a center for medical treatment.
Police department and shelters need help caring for all these cats. If you have extra large or medium crates or extra cat food and litter, drop them off at the Buckley Police Departments. Your forecast now going to see spotty showers, mainly in the North Sound today, along with some more mountain snow. Also some wet snow possibly in the North Sound this afternoon. Right now, 45 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
Yes, it is, but it's not John Curley.
It's not a show.
And it's not?
Technically. Hey, buddy.
How you doing, Spike?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Greg Tomlin and Spike O'Neill. It might as well be the Spike O'Neill radio station today. It's been a little off-putting, you between breaks going into the newsroom and saying to everybody, look at me, I'm the captain now.
When people say I should be off-putting, too, that seems a little intrusive.
Yeah, at the
I'll
outset
eat what
here,
I want to eat, man.
Should I be concerned? So I had a cup of hot cocoa an hour ago.
Uh-huh.
That was my prep.
Okay.
But then I exchanged mugs, and I got a cup of ice water here, and it tastes like salt.
Interesting. Really?
What does that tell you?
That you're having a... I don't know.
We're going to be in for a hell of a ride, I think is what it says.
Like salt?
Was it in the cupboard?
It was in the cupboard.
You probably have COVID or something.
Maybe it hasn't been used in a while.
Can you smell it? Can you have a sense of smell?
It smells like salt.
Okay, you don't have COVID. Let's clear that up first off. Well, first off, welcome everybody to the John Curley Show. We appreciate a chance to get you through your drive home, your afternoon commute with Nate Connors and Aaron Granillo and Joe and everybody that's here. We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure and a privilege. And waste not, want not. We got a weather alert coming in hot. Chains required at Snoqualmie Pass. Washington State Patrol is enforcing $500 fines, Spike, for non-compliance. This includes you, four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles. No special accommodations for you.
So that's okay. That's an upgrade because yesterday it was all-wheel drive. If not, you do require chains. Now there are chains even on the all-wheels. That's great.
You
Good.
may think
I get sick of people who don't know how to drive, don't know how to equip their car to traverse the passes in snow.
Chains required on at least your front two wheels or your back two wheels. Patrols issuing fines. Driver beware. It's for your own safety, folks. Spike, it does seem like winter has finally arrived in terms of snowy goodness in the Cascades.
I blame the porous northern border.
Do you?
I do. The invasion from the north.
Tell me more.
This weather front. Winter arrives from Canada. Film at 11.
Yeah.
And I hate to be the dad here, but, we have Laura produce our show. And I've had to have this conversation numerous times. If you're going to travel the pass, have the proper gear in your car. Have chains for your car. But don't learn how to put chains on the side of the road. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people on the side of the road in the dark struggling with no gloves, not proper gear.
That's scary, too.
It's not just, it is scary. It's also life-threatening. It's dangerous.
Is that not where you learned?
You practice. My old man wasn't dumb. He taught me in the driveway.
Really?
You put them on in a dry condition in the driveway. You learn how to do it. It's easier the second time when you know how to do it. It's just, I can't believe people who bought chains on the side of the road, in the snow, in the dark,
100%.
holding your phone in one hand as a lighter and trying to click the...
phones didn't have lights back then.
I forgot. Yeah.
I went to school in Spokane, was there for 4 years in college, so I would constantly go over Snoqualmie Pass. Had an all-wheel drive car, never had to put on the chains. I don't know if I just got lucky all those years going back and forth throughout the winter, but It's an enigma wrapped in a question mark inside an escape room or something. I do not know how to put chains on my tires.
You're a father.
No, I know I'm a father.
The well-being of your family is entrusted to you.
But I was the kid that always held the light for my dad while he did the work.
Only I didn't say fudge.
So it's cold out here, but I've got the flashlight pointed right where you're working, Dad.
And before I try to stake out the traction moral high ground here, I do remember a time leaving a snow-conditioned roadway, coming back from an Apple Cup in Spokane, and just neglecting to take the chains off once I hit dry road, and then listening to this as I chewed through metal chains on roadway that end up disintegrating and just ripping apart the wheel well of my car.
I always found the toughest road conditions going over the pass was not heavy snow. I could always get through fine. Fog and rain and slush.
Yeah.
So the scariest experience I ever had behind the wheel was there was just some wet rain and slush on I-90 right around the pass. And luckily there was no cars in front of me or behind me, but I'm just driving along, 55 miles an hour, think I'm doing just fine. And all of a sudden I fishtail and I start going backwards at 50 and I have no control of the vehicle.
In the fog?
In the fog, and it was so scary. But luckily, there was no car within like a mile behind me, which was a blessing. So, yeah, be careful because sometimes it's the conditions you don't expect that are going to be the most dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, just operate with caution, folks. The speed limit is the speed limit for the conditions you're driving in.
Right.
That's the first thing an officer will tell you as he writes your ticket.
All right, hold on to your butts, Spike, because it's not Star Wars, it's not the Clone Wars, it's not World Wars. It's the great gerrymandering wars of 2026 that are in full throttle right now. The topic of redrawing constituency boundaries in order to favor the electoral outcomes of a given party might not seem sexy on its surface, but my friends, prepare to have your civic sensibilities stimulated. The Supreme Court in December cleared the way for Texas to use a new congressional map that could help the GOP win 5 or so seats in the House in the upcoming midterms. Voters approved in California a new U.S. House map in November through Proposition 50, designed to help Democrats flip as many as 5 congressional House seats in the midterms as well. What about Washington State, Spike? We want to get in on the action, apparently. Could there be gerrymandering done here in the near future? There are some obstacles. Some rather large obstacles, in fact. So our state constitution allows redistricting only every 10 years, and a party in power needs 2/3 of the vote in both chambers of the legislature. Democrats dominate both chambers right now, but they don't have those numbers.
We don't have the prerequisite 2/3.
What's that?
We don't have the prerequisite 2/3.
Right. Nevertheless, Joe Fitzgibbon, majority leader in the House, submitted a resolution this week to allow state leaders to redistrict, knowing full well it's probably dead on arrival. But maybe just for the time being, this move could be symbolic, perhaps an optimistic prologue to the Democrats winning more seats. But what do you make of all the gerrymandering that's going on? And it's kind of been heightened in its consequences. It's receiving more attention nationwide. And any perspective on it?
It's a coward's way forward.
For both parties?
For both parties.
Okay.
It's a coward's way forward. If you feel like you've got to redraw the map so that the electors pick the voters, not the voters pick the electorate, it's a coward. If you don't have policies and ideas to move your state forward and win the popular vote of a state, and you've got to gerrymander a map, that minority rule becomes the rule of the day. It's a coward's way forward. I didn't like when California did it, but they did it in retaliation of Texas. I'm also not a fan of bringing checkers to a chess game. Or I was going to say a knife to a gunfight, but I hate those metaphors. But if that's the game that's being played, if gerrymandering the map is being played to orchestrate electoral wins and give majorities in the House of Representatives that are earned by popular vote, then you got to play the game that's being played. I don't want to see Washington do it. I don't want to see California doing it. But if Missouri, Indiana, the Carolinas are talking about it, Maryland's talking about it, Washington's talking about it. First off, I don't know the answer here. It's a very complex question. Gerrymandering is as old as the hills. The term originated from the shape.
But something's gotten more broken and exacerbated recently.
Well, you do it every 10 years. You do it, based on census.
Yeah.
The population of House of Representatives, I think it should be a popular vote. If you get 64% of the popular vote in your state, you should get 64% of the delegation of your party to the state's House the federal House of Representatives, and then you apportion those according to the geographical locations of the vote casters. You know, I don't like minority rule. I don't like the fact that you get 40. In some states, you get 40% of the vote, and you get 75% of the representation in Congress. How is that what was intended by the House of Representatives?
Yeah, civics, fun, education, incoming. So today I learned that Washington State, each district has around 760,000 people or something like that. And that's akin to the same type of numbers in California and Florida. Smaller states like Rhode Island, Montana, Wyoming, where they only have like 2 districts, so on, about 500,000 people. But they're all supposed to be very similar in size, right? So I read an interesting article by Robert Zubrin over at the National Review. He thinks it's broken, but the solution is this. Let the majority party in the state legislature take the first shot at proposing a redistricting plan. So the sum of the perimeters of all the proposed districts can be added up to create a score for the majority plan. Then a minority party is given 30 days to come up with an alternative plan. If they can come up with a design whose total perimeter is less than the majority's plan, then the minority plan is adopted.
I mean, it sounds Convolution Institute. Well, this is so hard to follow.
A lot of this stuff is so kind of deep in the weeds. But if there's a way to make redistricting less partisan, I feel like this is one of those rare issues where both parties could get on board with. Much like the smartphone issue, which has kind of seen some bipartisan support. I feel like redistricting should not be a left-right thing.
Well, it shouldn't be. And in California, they had to have this Prop 50 vote because they had a law that said independent districting panels would decide how maps were drawn, not partisan for one party or the other. To allow a party in majority dictate what the maps look like.
Well, you got to have the trifecta, right? You got to have the Senate, the House, and the governorship, probably, if you really want to.
Well, every state should have an independent board or committee drawing the maps of these districts, and it should be proportioned by how many voters cast their votes. Again, you know, representation should be reflective of the vote totals of voters in their state. Mm-hmm. You know, I've seen maps, and again, both sides gerrymander, where you've got, say, there's a large African American community in Houston, for example, this time around, right, that had representation in Congress because of the numbers of voters of this community. Well, then they cut that pie of that community into 4 different sections that are in the corners of 4 different districts. So none of none of the members of that community have that representation in Congress. How is that what was intended?
Yeah,
it just seems just perverted to me. And again, a coward's way forward. If you got to redraw the map to get 5 extra seats because your policies won't win you the electorate of those 5 representatives, and you're going to lose 5 seats because your policies suck, your policies suck. And your plans to gerrymander your way into a majority of your state is a coward's way forward.
Okay, how about on a different topic here, how the money was...
We talk about TV or something?
No. Let's keep the stakes high here. We're going to turn right into the subject of the CCA, the Climate Commitment Act, and the dough that has been put into government coffers to the tune of $4 billion as a result of the CCA. How is that money supposed to be spent? It's in the black right now, which is sort of rare for our state.
It might be the only thing in Washington that's making money is the CCA.
Well, so right. But there's much disagreement now about where some of that cash should go towards. By law, it's supposed to be designated to fight climate change, so-called, to pump it into reducing carbon emissions.
The already have experienced effects and to mitigate future effects.
And to that effect, they've spent about $1.5 billion, but there's much disagreement about the effectiveness of how those dollars have been spent, and has it helped the climate situation whatsoever? There's been a lot of interesting pieces by Todd Myers of the Washington Policy Center about it. Yeah, and it's very controversial.
Well, when they misrepresent by 9,000% the effect of the money being spent.
It's
insane. It's bordering on criminally insane.
Our new governor wants to spend some of that cash and put it towards child tax credits.
Working family tax credits.
Yeah, working family tax credits. Thank you. Jim Walsh, who is a Republican lawmaker, wants to put some of that money towards relieving some of the utility costs for schools because those bills have shot up, he argues, because of the CCA. What do you make of all this, Spike?
I think that's a use for it for schools. I think is a valid when the cost of running a school district is impacted by the utility bills that school district has to run, heating or cooling, then yes, some of that money should go toward paying for that. Here's the thing. The CCA was dedicated to fight climate impact.
In theory.
Yeah, that's exactly in theory. If you're going to dip into it for various other needs, transportation needs is one thing being eyed. A tax credit from the governor, a use for schools from Representative Walsh. If you're not going to use the money for what it was gathered for, then stop gathering the money. Or just leave it alone and use it. I mean, Jake and I get in this all the time, that they have mismanaged the money that they've spent. $1.5 billion so far, with maybe a 4% reduction in cars on the road.
What to show for it?
Right.
Practically nothing.
They championed a 40% reduction in the amount of cars burning gas or diesel on the roadways was. That's what the Department of Ecology championed last month. And did a victory tour with press releases saying we had a 40% reduction. We were just off. It wasn't 7.5 million metric tons of carbon. It was 78,000 metric tons.
Oops.
That's only a couple zeros wrong. A 9,000% error.
And we're just supposed to just...
And nobody checked that before you sent it out and
right.
took a victory lap? Here's what Jake and I get into back and forth on. It's a good policy, I feel, but it's been horribly mismanaged. Do you then cancel the whole policy itself, the initiative to mitigate the impact of climate change because it's been mismanaged? Or do you find proper management? Do you run it correctly?
And what would running it correctly look like to you? Because I don't know about the return on investment here, and that $1.5 billion and practically nothing to show for it. I say scrap the CCA altogether.
Well, that seems like mismanagement to me, right? I mean, if you're not getting the return, find a way to use if it's an effort worth doing. Okay, mitigating the impact of climate of change, whether you call it global warming, whatever, extreme weather conditions. We just had a 100-year flood every 2, 3, 5 years. Now we're having another 100-year flood. We've had record.
Who needs
heat.
Highway 2?
We've got everybody's trying to ski.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and people who get flooded out, or whether it's drought, whether it's wildfires caused and exacerbated by drought. These are impacts of a changing climate. And if you're going to grab money from our taxpayer pockets to help to mitigate this, then use it for the intent or stop collecting it.
I just feel like there's been pie in the sky promises.
Well, it was Jay Inslee announced Bob Ferguson, so yes, of course there have been pie. Remember when they sold it to us, pennies on the dollar or pennies on the gallon, had the impact with literally they quoted pennies on the gallon. It's over 51 now, 54 now per gallon in the state of Washington.
But do you remember when the whole world shut down? For like a year or two.
It was fabulous.
And what did that even do for the climate and climate change?
A ton.
Did it? It did a ton.
Did you see the water in Venice after a month of nobody on it? You could see through it. You know how fast this planet recovers when you stop kicking it in the teeth or burning it to the ground? I mean, to mitigate the impacts we have on our planet is, first off, I know it's an impossible task when not everybody's playing.
Mm-hmm.
When China doesn't care, for every car we take off the road, they open 3 coal-burning power plants in China. So it's impossible to have a positive effect on it unless everybody is playing. Imagine you're the only guy rowing in a boat, and the boat's not going anywhere. Unless everybody rows together, the boat gets nowhere. I'm a firm believer. I'm a realist in that regard. But just because it's not working doesn't mean it's not an effort worth getting right and pursuing.
Greg Tomlin, Spike O'Neill, in on the John Curley Show.
That's it. I'm out of gas. Good luck for the next 3 hours.
See you later. Yeah, thanks for being here. Lots more to talk about. A busy news day. For now, let's shoot it on over to Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
All right, Greg, Emerald Queen Casino has our update, and we've got this ongoing traffic alert. I think it'll be with us for quite some time in Federal Way. It's North 5 at South 288. 4 right lanes are blocked by this collision. This is right where we've had maintenance crews working all afternoon on the right shoulder. I don't know if that's part of this or not. Northbound, your backup starts at State Route 18, and you're just not moving here. South 5, you're backed up into South Center to Tacoma to Seattle. Tacoma to Seattle is 1 hour right now. Seattle to Federal Way is 1 hour. You may want to consider the Valley Freeway or Highway 99 to get around these backups. Both of those routes right now are looking pretty good. Southbound 167 is filling in between Renton and Auburn, which is typical for this time of day. Southbound 405 to Bellevue, you're thick from Southeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway. And South 5 heading into Seattle, slows from 85th in the downtown. You're going to get thick there on the Ship Canal Bridge. Again, these are all typical. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC, February 6th, only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio, Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
after voters made it clear they want change.
That I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
The Big Seattle Boat Show. It's the best time to buy. January 30th through February 7th with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. It's a big deal. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show. You gotta cruise the Boat Show. You won't believe how cool it is. So bring the family.
Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
All right, here's a quick confession. The reason Nick, my wife, is going to Longevity Medical Clinic is because why?
I got sick of watching you sleep at night when I was awake.
Wait a minute. Here's what would happen. I'd be asleep because I've got my hormones balanced thanks to Longevity Medical Clinic. I'm asleep, and then Nick would go, "Are you asleep? Are you sleeping? That's not fair. I can't sleep." I'm like, "So you're going to wake me up?"
Yes, because I didn't want you to have more energy than I would the next day, and I was up all night.
So what did I say to you? I said, so go to the Longevity Medical Clinic. Do the same thing I did. Get your hormones balanced. You'll sleep better, right?
And I did.
Right. You don't have to wake me up anymore and go, it's not fair that you're sleeping.
I know.
But didn't you see that it wasn't fair that you were waking me up?
Yes, because now you're the one taking the dogs out because I'm still asleep in the morning.
So we're both getting good night's sleep. We're both getting lots of energy, and we're happy.
You don't want me to tell you why? Because my hormones are now balanced.
Okay, I don't want to hear about your hormones right now. So be like Nick and get a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Give your attic an overhaul with new insulation from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. Stay cool all summer, slash utility bills, and boost your home's air quality. Call now and get $300 off attic ceiling and ventilation, or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to kick off 2026 on a healthier path? Our New Year, New You event has everything you need, from saltwater hot tubs to rejuvenating saunas and cold plunges, or staying active with a swim spa. We've got the perfect way to help you feel your best. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup now through January 11th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Hey,
it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. We are learning more today about that ICE officer who shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis yesterday. CBS's Nicole Skenga has more.
This is an agent who would have received over 280 hours of training in any given year. In addition to that, we know that this particular ICE agent last summer nearby St. Paul had been dragged by a suspect in a car ramming incident during an attempted arrest.
The Homeland Security Secretary says that officer followed his training and acted in self-defense. Former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, a law enforcement analyst, disagrees.
Now, you look what's going on with ICE, and clearly they have a culture, an aggressive, confrontational culture of how they're doing their job.
He tells KIRO News Radio's Gian Ursula he believes that officer put himself in harm's way by getting in front of the woman's car. A federal investigation is ongoing. Those Affordable Care Act tax credits that expired at the end of the year, they might be coming back.
The People's House has just delivered a decisive victory for the American people.
That is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries after the House passed a measure to restore those tax credits for 3 years. More from CBS's Allison Keyes.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 196.
The debate was contentious. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries supported the bipartisan bill
to protect the health care of the American people.
But Republican Representative Jason Smith of Missouri blamed Democrats.
They are the only ones that have voted to take away these subsidies.
The tax breaks lowered health insurance costs for some $22 million. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Senate is working on an alternative bill. Also in the Senate today, members passed a war powers resolution.
This was always about the oil.
That is Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray before she voted in favor of that resolution. It would limit President Trump's ability to conduct more attacks against Venezuela. Analysts say that bill has little chance of passing the House. Let's go down to the real-time traffic desk at 3:32. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, this report brought to us by Northwest Hope and Healing. We've got this ongoing traffic alert through Federal Way this afternoon. You'll want to avoid I-5, North 5 at South 288. 4 right lanes are blocked by this collision. That leaves just the HOV lane open. State Patrol just confirmed this does involve one of the vehicles, striking one of our maintenance crew trucks on the right shoulder. They've been out on that shoulder all afternoon. 2 other vehicles are involved. No serious injuries here. North 5, that backup now starts at Wild Waves. South 5 is backed up into South Center. Both of these backups are just barely moving, and it's 1 hour between Tacoma and Seattle to Federal Way. Alternate routes include Highway 99 and 167. Over on the east side, South 405 is thick between Southeast 8th and Cold Creek Parkway. South 5 into Seattle slows at 85th in the downtown Seattle. These are all very typical backups. And up in Everett, it's getting thick just north of the Snohomish River into Marysville. Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration. Get your tickets now for January 31st at nwhopeandhealing.org. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And checking your forecast now, the radar showing some showers, mainly in the North Sound right now, and also some mountain snow. We'll see temperatures drop down to the low 40s tonight, some morning showers for Friday. Right now, 45 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in for John Curley. Spike, is it okay to use a pejorative about a group if you are a part of that group?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Unequivocally.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So if I use the word fat and not curvy or heavy set or portly, it's okay.
Look who you're talking to. Look who you talking to, brother.
We need to sing
I'm surprised the studio isn't tipping on its side. You just put you on one side and me on the other.
I've had... I was going to let that comment stand for what it was. I've dealt with weight issues my whole life, and I have no problem with the word fat. And when I say the word fat jab, What does that mean to you?
Oh, the wonder drugs.
It's the wonder drugs,
It's the
right?
wonder drug. It's the newly price reduced, thank you, Trump administration, jab, whether it be Wegovy or Ozempic or whatever other iteration you find.
And what I'm banking on this year is that you can get it in pill form.
I heard that in the story.
I think Wegovy just started it.
Who have fear of needles, yeah.
Or fear, no, it's just easier too.
Yeah,
and less invasive.
I can tell you, prior to my daughter's wedding last April, I got on the sauce.
You did?
For about 6 months. You betcha.
Okay, but you quit.
I did.
Okay, so
I'm back.
I want to know about your journey.
Yeah, I'm back.
Watch out, ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm at an information gathering stage with all these drugs because I'm seriously considering going on one of them if I can or if I'm prescribed the drug. What has your been experience like in that 6 months? Why'd you get on it? Why'd you get off?
I got on it because I'm lazy, because I have poor self-control.
Doctors say I have a little bit of a weight problem, in quotes.
I love that movie.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to lose weight and look good for my daughter's wedding because those photos last more than just a lifetime.
Sure.
And I've tried weight loss products in the past. I've been weight loss campaigns in the past. I was an endorser for a weight loss company in the past, and it works when you work it. It works if you're dedicated and committed to doing a process. And these drugs work. And for some people, whatever works. And I get it and I respect that. And it's great for some people. For me, I had a negative effect on me from a physical standpoint.
Okay.
I found that I lost 40 pounds all through one end of my body, if you know what I'm saying to you. And it was it
was an uncomfortable experience. It did work.
It worked. The photos looked great.
It's
I lost
a trade-off.
weight. And yeah, exactly. It was not without pain, if you will. And I stopped doing it immediately afterward because of that. And the pounds came back. I'm not back to my pre-wedding weight.
Okay.
But the holidays didn't help. And I walked through the house with a shirt off this week, and women cried and dogs fled.
I'm a never nude. I have a bathing suit in the shower, Spike.
Another great show. So the study we're looking at here from the British Medical Journal says that folks who take the jab, the fat jab, as you correctly called it, when they stop doing it, they usually put the weight back on within 2 years. All of the weight.
Not surprising to me, but it sort of puts a damper on my future plans because I had the idea of taking the pill or the jab for a short period of time, just sort of give my brain a big reset.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now I have the determination because I look at this beautiful bod in the mirror after I've lost 50 pounds or whatever, and now I have the strength and the courage to keep it going.
And it's easier on your joints to keep going.
Easier on your joints,
to be mobile, to be active, absolutely. Oftentimes people don't exercise because it is physically painful or physically taxing to a point where it's impossible for you to do the kind of work needed. But that's, again, to my earlier point, I'm lazy and I'm impatient, right? I mean, and that's the problem with most folks who have weight issues. They don't want to do the work. You talk about taking the Wegovy's in a pill now.
Yeah.
I've heard of people microdosing this stuff.
Oh, really?
How about microdosing food instead? I mean, it's not a hard math problem for people. Eat less, move around more.
The skinny guy Joe's just cracking up at every other
if you want to
sentence.
lose weight,
Judging.
put less garbage in your mouth. You want to live longer, get off your couch more often. My wife has to chase me around with a car. She's a smart woman. She put a cheeseburger on a 20-foot stick, hangs it in front of me. The burger's in front of me. I'm in front of the car. She keeps it moving forward. It's working for us.
Did you become the burger master?
I did.
But no, this study is important. So 9,300 people were researched, watched, and a vast majority of them all gained back their weight within 2 years after going off the fat jab. And I think the dynamic that's taking place here is, I said this yesterday on the air, when you take the jab, it quiets some of the voices in your head. The second you go off the jab, the voices return, and sometimes even mightier and more fierce than before.
Yeah.
And
because they're mad at you now.
Man, so many years ago, I lost over 100 pounds. And just looked good, felt good, was in an incredible place in my life. Well, mid-30s, right?
So
do we need to hold hands while we have this conversation?
But I appreciate you sharing that. I'm seriously. So let me ask you. You wanted to take the jab as an incentive to start the machine rolling. What is it when you saw the success and it worked for you, but you found yourself going back to your old habits?
Yes.
And your old lifestyles, your old decisions. What was it that tipped you back on the wrong track?
I was in Las Vegas.
Well, come on. I thought what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. I thought they applied a weight.
No, not with calories. The calories come home, my friend.
Pounds at the border.
I was at my brother's house, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a summer's day. It was glorious. We were outside. We were by a pool, and someone had this massive bowl of like potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally remember like the second that the flip switched in my brain. And I thought, I'm just going to indulge myself today. Just indulge. And
Sure.
I'm telling you, after when you've lost a ton of weight, there is a honeymoon period where you can overindulge and you still look great. Right? So I had about a month and a half where all bets were off. I was just eating like my 300-pound self again, and I still looked great. But all of a sudden, your habits have changed. Well, they say it takes like 40 days to develop a new habit, something like that.
Yeah.
And I
Just
had
set a habit.
reverted back, and slowly but surely, I'd say it took about 2 years, and all the weight came flooding back. And it's kind of embarrassing because you've been showered with compliments for like months and months and months about what great work you're doing. And I was like, and then people you haven't seen in a long time that are like, oh, I saw you lose all the weight. And then you don't see them for 8 months, and then you're fat again. And they're like, no. Well, and you know what they're saying when you're not there anymore.
They don't say it to your face.
And then I had the
They say it behind your back, but it takes longer to walk around behind your back, which is ironic.
But it's such a psychological thing.
It is.
In the relationship to food, I think it's an addiction issue.
It is.
For me personally.
Absolutely.
I think for a lot of people, it's a spiritual issue.
To quote the great Pat O'Day, it's not your fault. It's really not.
Come here, it's not your fault. No, it is my fault.
How did you lose the 100 pounds?
Calorie journal. I did like
accountability.
But it was fun because it turned it into a bit of a game. Like you could fill your bank or a little bit each day.
Did you reward yourself for success with things that weren't food related?
There would be cheat days, but like
not cheat days. That's where we get in a problem. And again, I was going to make this point, but you got me right to it. Food is the reward. That's the problem.
That's the bad association.
Right? I mean, here's the thing. When I
issue.
say it's not your fault, it's because we use food to celebrate in this country. Right?
Oh, gosh.
We use food to celebrate. We use food to commiserate in this country. You know, we mourn. Let's put it at a buffet.
Someone said this
at
to me the other day.
Let's eat a bunch.
Yes.
Food's a solution to every problem we have. And that's because marketing is why that is.
Well, and a friend of mine gave me a little credit the other day because I was comparing some of my food addiction tendencies to that of drugs or alcohol and whatnot.
In your brain.
And he said, well, but hold on, you have to have food to survive. You don't need drugs and alcohol to actually live. And so I'm in the presence. No. I'm in the presence of the thing I'm addicted to nonstop.
I hear you. No,
Joe
it's a fair defense.
No, I'm joking.
Well, here's it's funny you make that little joke, but the stimulation in your brain from drugs and alcohol is the same stimulation in your brain you get from food.
I think so.
It's a neurological response to stimulation there.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem is food is so acceptable; it's everywhere, and it's a necessary part of life, right? But it's we've had this conversation so many times on our show and in my household. You know, the new food pyramid was released this week. They flipped the whole food pyramid on its head.
It's inverted like Top Gun.
It's topped with a steak now, which I love about Maha. You know, but it's about excess. It's about overindulgence. It's about not being able to pull it back and not being able to say when. You know what caused America's obesity? The Clean Plate Club. The whole people are starving.
Clean your plate?
Yes, as a kid, clean your plate. You know there are starving kids in China? How many times did you hear that? That, you know, don't waste food, don't waste food. The most success I ever had losing weight was if you're not hungry, stop eating.
I think that's part of it. I also believe there's a dynamic here where Americans believed that food should be easy.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It needs to be instant and convenient, and more is always better in America. We like
sure.
If you're succeding, you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then that relates to our bodies as well.
It's not about convenient. I've said many times. I said earlier today. Every time somebody hands you food through a window, it's a day off the end of your life.
So that's every day for me, or are we?
I'm just telling you, man. Nothing good comes in a bag through a window.
All right,
hot and fresh.
It's going to be interesting to see what research continues to come about in terms of these fat jabs as more people adopt them and we have a longer period of time to study. I'm still in the wait and see category. Greg Tomlin and Spike O'Neill in for the John Curley Show. Nate Connors, tell us a little bit about what's going on the roadways right now.
Yeah, a lot, actually. The Emerald Queen Casino has our update. We've got this ongoing traffic alert North 5 through Federal Way. You'll want to avoid I-5 and Federal Way this afternoon. North 5 and South 288, 4 of your 5 lanes are blocked. That leaves the far left HOV lane open to all drivers. We're about an hour or so into this collision, and North 5 right now is backed up all the way to Porter Way in Fife. South 5 is bumper to bumper back in South Center. So Tacoma to Seattle, 1 hour. Seattle to Federal Way, not Tacoma, 55 minutes. Alternate routes include Highway 99 and 167. Both of those routes are looking good. In fact, northbound 167 is wide open between Tacoma and Renton. South 167 is filling in. Renton to Puyallup will take you 50 minutes. Heading up north, Seattle and Bellevue up to Everett are both looking good. Those routes taking you just 40 minutes. And Everett to Marysville, that's a 20-minute commute today. Stop and go between the Snohomish River and 529. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC February 6th, only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
All right, I saw an article today in the Wall Street Journal. Put your house on the market. You better price it right. You better price it right. So you better get a realtor that knows exactly what the comps are going to be and how to get that house of yours at the right price to get people to come in there and take a look at it, because the housing market has been sort of dormant for a while. So interest rates have dropped, and that's where Mike Novak comes in. He's got the know-how, he's got the experience, and he's going to put his money where his mouth is. Novak says, listen, I sell your house in 21 days. If not, you don't pay me a commission. And that means he's going to be out money. Novak spends about 70 times more than the average agent when it comes to making sure that your house gets seen and shown and then sold. He sells more houses than anyone else because he just knows how to do it, and he hustles. He really, really hustles. So a bunch of houses coming up on the market, and that means you're competing against everybody else that's got a similar house. Well, how's the advantage come in for you? That's because you've got Mike Novak. You've got the Novak team working for you. MeetTheNovaks.com. Go online, check them out. MeetTheNovaks.com. I'll spell Novak for you. Novak. That's MeetTheNovaks.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and the results can last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment. Using your own natural hair, Advanced Hair can restore your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning. All backed by Advanced Hair's guarantee. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
At Skyline Seattle, senior living never sounded so good. We celebrate the arts and are building enviable cultural partnerships like the Ballardet Quartet from the Seattle Chamber Music Society and the Seattle Art Museum. We provide our residents all the energy Seattle offers. Make your home at Seattle's only true life care community. Culture has an address. Skyline. Discover it all at SkylineSeattle.org.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
Play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for
Oh, we're going to
free.
sing along.
We're just going to sing along to this for the next 5 minutes.
That's the way you do it.
Let me tell you.
We just did a parody of this, and I sang both parts.
Okay, what was the title of the parody? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
Weird Al's parody was Beverly Hillbillies.
That's right.
Beverly Hillbillies. Is MTV still alive? Why does everybody think it's shut down, Spike? We've got all the details.
It did shut down, right? When I saw a big thing went off the air last month, right?
I did too.
It ended a 40-year run?
As I was swiping through social media, I saw, oh my gosh, they went off the air on New Year's Eve. It's been 44 years.
What will those spray tanners from Jersey Shore do now?
Yeah,
Where will they live? How about the pregnant 16-year-olds? What will they do for an income?
And the bookends to the story was the first video that ever aired on MTV was...
The Buggles.
Yep. Video killed the radio star.
Trevor Rabin.
And then in the last 5 minutes they ever broadcast in 44 years, they played the same video. I mean, just an incredible story.
We did a parody of that, too.
And I talked to multiple people that believe this. Well, it's not true. Fact check, double check, triple check what you see, especially on social media. So here's what happened a few months ago. This is according to Esquire. Paramount made the decision to shut down the suite of supplemental music-only channels that MTV had introduced in the UK and Australia in the late aughts, around early 2010s.
Okay.
MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, MTV Live, so on and so forth. Those channels went off the air in the UK and Australia. MTV, however, is still on the air in those places and all over the world and here in the United States. Now, they don't resemble anything they did in the 1980s.
Play music videos.
Why do you think we were all so susceptible to believing this story? Because I don't know. It met our generation, millennials, Gen X, our consciousness in a certain way. I don't know. It was nostalgic.
Yeah.
There was some pathos involved. It made us think of a different time and how the world was so different.
Music is a great memory key.
But that's what the fake news people rely on, is they know what's going to make a story go viral, even if it's only 8.5% true.
Wait, that's the truth.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, MTV died a long time ago.
Do you think it started with the venture into reality TV?
Absolutely.
The first one was what, Joe?
The first what?
Reality TV show from
The Real World.
Real World. That's right.
Which gave us our Secretary of Transportation.
Oh, is that
John
right?
Duffy, yeah, you bet he was MTV
I
Real
didn't know
World.
that.
Yeah, that's how he claimed to fame. That got him on Fox News. That got him in the cabinet.
I think Theo Vaughn was on one of those reality shows for MTV
Was he
too. Might have
really?
been Real World or Road Rules.
Was it
or something
Rachel
like that.
Duffy? What's her name? It's on Fox News. She's an analyst or a commentator, a host.
Kennedy.
She was also
Kennedy.
Kennedy was
yeah,
MTV.
yeah. That's
But
right.
Kennedy did MTV News, though, to be
Yes.
fair, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Kennedy MTV, I don't know if she might have been a VJ at some point. But I,
I
think she
feel
had
like
some,
MTV missed the boat. They went kind of the way of the blockbusters.
Dire Straits can't.
Like they had an opportunity to be the people that
They were
still
the people.
specializing. But they
Music
could.
sucks.
We could all have like an MTV app on our phone. It's like the only place for music videos.
It's
you know
still
what I mean?
there for you, buddy. It's there. You just have to find it.
No one goes there.
But like you said, they have classic MTV, 80s MTV, 90s MTV. You get a particular flavor. That's the fractioning of all media, though, right?
Yes.
We super serve exactly what we want. Same thing with news. You talk about 8% true. I can find a station that gives me the 8% I want to hear.
Yes.
That's all, and that's all I'll hear is no opposing viewpoints.
No question about it. Greg Talman and Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. Let's send it on over to Nate Connors at the Real Time Traffic Desk.
All right, hey, good news. We're making progress on Federal Way. North 5 and South 288th, we now have just the 2 right lanes blocked. So that opens up 3 total left lanes. And right now, that northbound backup starts way back at the Fife Curve. South 5, you're packed in the South Center. So we have big backup still. And now those backups are going to start moving, working their way forward in one big convoy. So look out Tacoma, look out Seattle. Here they come. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is just hit 1 hour as drivers have been ditching I-5 and going that route. So you no longer need to do that. You can probably stick with I-5 as these are going to start opening up, but it's still pretty bad. Otherwise, we're just seeing typical backups around the region this afternoon. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO News Radio app.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
1-877 cars for kids. KARS
subsidized Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
With Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, maintenance is the key to a long-lasting roof. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? Call us today. Our first-time customers can save $99. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition, too. It's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Tensions rise after an ICE officer kills a woman in Minneapolis. And federal law enforcement sources say the Department of Homeland Security is considering deploying hundreds of additional agents to Minneapolis. That's where CBS's Asher Qureshi is.
Adding to the tension here in Minneapolis is that the U.S. Attorney's Office has blocked state authorities from the investigation into that shooting, leaving it to the FBI. Minnesota's governor says that's a mistake and asked ICE to leave.
Let us, the professionals, handle this on Minnesota soil, this investigation. De-escalate this situation by removing yourselves from this situation with these 2,000 agents that were put here.
At the White House press briefing, the Trump administration said that won't be happening.
The victim has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Good, a U.S. citizen who moved to the Twin Cities from the Kansas City area. CBS's Nicole Skanga also reports.
CBS News has learned that the ICE agent involved in this fatal shooting was a member of ICE's immigration task force, a special response team, and was an over 10-year veteran of ICE. Now, special response teams are given very advanced training.
The Trump administration says the ICE agent acted in self-defense. Minnesota's governor calls this a reckless ICE mobilization. The House has voted to extend tax subsidies for Affordable Care Act plans for 3 years. CBS's Allison Keyes.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 196.
The debate was contentious. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries supported the bipartisan bill
to protect the health care of the American people.
But Republican Representative Jason Smith of Missouri blamed Democrats.
They are the only ones that have voted to take away these subsidies.
The tax breaks lowered health insurance costs for some $22 million. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump on social media says 5 Republicans who voted with Democrats on a resolution to limit his ability to launch more attacks on Venezuela should never be elected to office again. One of them, GOP Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri.
But this resolution is limited to Venezuela, and it says that for future armed hostilities, there needs to be congressional authorization.
In a first, the International Space Station crew is coming back to Earth earlier than expected because an astronaut is sick but stable. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman.
NASA astronauts and our teams in mission control are professionals who train for every possible scenario at every step of the mission, including moments just like this.
Today's spacewalk on the International Space Station was scrubbed, and NASA will announce in the coming days when the crew of 4 will return to Earth. This is CBS News.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up, police confirm an ICE operation in North Seattle. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
This report brought to us by Seattle Sports. Huge backups in both directions of I-5 heading through Federal Way, and I mean huge because of our collision, North 5 at South 288. Now, this had 4 out of 5 lanes blocked for a couple hours. That recently moved over to your 2 right lanes, so we've got a few lanes opened up. Tacoma to Seattle, though, an hour and 20-minute commute. Going the other way, Seattle to Tacoma, an hour and 5 minutes. I would recommend heading north on 167 if you can. That route is wide open between Tacoma and Renton. It is jam-packed, though, between Renton and Kent southbound. More backups in Pacific into Puyallup, and right now southbound Renton to Puyallup is a 1-hour commute. South 5 into Seattle doing pretty good. You're backed up from Northgate into downtown, nothing too heavy. Linwood to Seattle a half hour. North 5 is pretty much clear, as is the rest of this commute around the map, looking at relatively light volumes. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. This just into the newsroom. Federal agents have shot and hurt 2 people in Portland. KIRO 7 TV's El Thomas says this involved Customs and Border Protection agents.
So we just received a statement from the FBI about this, saying it happened right around 2:15 this afternoon on Main Street in Portland. And that's involving, again, those Customs and Border Patrol agents. 2 people hurt.
No other details released for now. The FBI is leading that investigation. We are learning more about a federal immigration raid in North Seattle now. Police say witnesses saw 3 men being arrested yesterday by ICE agents at a cemetery on Aurora Avenue. Seattle City Council member Bob Kettle says it appears the men were first confronted at a nearby Home Depot.
I don't think we need full battle rattle at the Home Depot on Aurora. I don't think we need that type of approach, mask and with that kind of tactical gear.
No details yet on those individuals who were detained by ICE. We have reached out to the agency for comments. King County prosecutors charged a 17-year-old with the murder of a 15-year-old Bellevue High School freshman. Camario Onaki is expected to be tried as an adult in the killing of Ajane Brooks. Casey McNerthany with the King County Prosecutor's Office says Onaki is being held on $5 million bail.
When you see the added allegation that he was attempting to sexually exploit the victim before her death, the reasons for that high bail amount are even more apparent.
Brooks was found dead last June in Snoqualmie 3 days after she went missing. Onaki has pleaded not guilty. Animal control in Pierce County seizes more than 100 cats from a Buckley home. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has details.
Animal control was alerted to the problem by neighbors who could smell the stench emanating from the home. Here's Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto.
The smell was so incredibly putrid that there were tips coming in about this home that had cats inside of it.
Deputy Capetto says the cats had plenty of food and water, but many of them were inbred and living conditions were unsafe and unhealthy and could lead to animal cruelty charges. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Now to your forecast, seeing most of the shower activity now over the North Sound and also some snow in the Cascades at the moment. Come tomorrow, some morning showers and highs in the upper 40s. Right now, 45 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in for the John Curley Show. Thanks for joining us on KIRO Radio. Spike, do you have a fireplace at your house?
Yes, I do. 2 of them.
Okay. Does it get put to good use during the holiday season?
No, we go with the one on TV.
You go with the one on TV?
They're gas. I have 2 gas fireplaces.
Okay.
I should say. That's not true wood-burning fireplaces.
We have a fireplace in our home, but it's not operative. And like my secret longing is to just sit down by the fire as it's raging with like snow falling outside. And it's this dream that will never be fully realized.
Why not? Nice glass of scotch.
I think it's going to cost like thousands of dollars to like repair our chimney or something. I don't know.
the hell's wrong with your chimney?
Well,
It's
here's
like
okay.
Fat guy coming on every Christmas.
Granillo's just sitting here enjoying laughing at me. Okay, you guys tell me what to do because I've had multiple estimates. One guy came over and is like, it's going to cost $3,500 to fix. The next guy goes, we don't need to do anything. You could use this tomorrow. And how do I make sense of that? Either I'm going to burn the house down.
Bid. You always get 3.
Oh, so
you don't
that
take
was
the
my
high
fault.
One, you don't take the low one. You take the one in the middle.
I only did 2 bids.
Don't you listen to the station? Always get 3 estimates.
Hire a chimney sweeper to come out and clean it.
Okay.
He'll tell you.
That's what they sound like?
I would pay $3,500 for a chimney, for a fireplace.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
If that's what was keeping you from
You're
having a
rolling in the
working
dough at
fireplace.
producer here at
No, I
KIRO.
would figure it out.
Guest hosts are slumming it. Dang, brother.
You got to get in that producers union, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
What a crew.
But that was a perfect segue into what I was going to say, Spike, and that is we are doing life wrong. I did the same thing as you. We always turn on our big screen TV and we go to the 4K fireplace on YouTube.
It's beautiful.
There's lots of different 10-hour productions of a fireplace.
Sure.
I read today that this guy put up a 10-hour fireplace video on YouTube 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
It has 157 million views, and he has made $1.5 million off of it. And I scrolled through the 10 hours today to see, is this just someone who set up a camera and then you actually get to watch the fire from start to finish down to smoldering and
does
then
he put a
coals
log
and all
on
that?
it at one point or anything?
I think it just goes on a loop.
37-second loop.
I think it's like a 30-second loop.
Yeah.
So there's nothing creative or profound about it or interesting. And the guy has cashed in major. And I'm thinking, how do I
stoke it? You don't have to do anything to it.
How do you come up with an idea like that makes you 1.5 mil? It was probably an afterthought for this guy. And now he's, depending on where he lives, maybe set for life. Isn't that just astounding to you? It's such a story made for 2025.
It's that pet rock. That one thing everybody comes up with. Right?
That one?
Everything. Yeah, everybody who's rich had that one great idea. We were watching a trailer for a movie, and the Proclaimers of 500 Miles.
Yep.
They wrote one hit. They're fat and happy. They call it mailbox money. You put your slippers on, don't even get out of your robe. Cup of coffee in one hand, your slippers, go to the mailbox, grab your check, come back in. So that's this digital fireplace, his electric.
It's just wild how one moment of inspiration can change your life.
The muse
and other people can slave away for decades and decades, working their butts off and barely scrape by. I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, but...
it's capitalizing on that one great moment of inspiration.
Yes.
This guy said, I'll tell you what, my father used to tell me, I had an idea once back in 1972, we could probably sell people bottled water. He was down in Albuquerque in the summertime. He goes, people would pay if we put water in bottles. And his buddies laughed at him because they were having beers.
Yeah.
But here we are today. Bottled water is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
My dad was in the Marine Corps, and he spent some time in Okinawa and around Japan, and coffee culture was really big over there before it was here in the U.S. But he remembers going around and seeing all these Japanese people sitting outside these coffee shops and thinking, why isn't this huge in America yet? Lo and behold, Starbucks just a few years later goes through the roof.
It's about seizing the moment. Carpe diem, right? Seize the day. A buddy of mine came to visit me when I'd first moved into town in I moved here in 89. He came in probably 90, right? Came to town and saw an espresso. And he's like, this is genius. He went back to Baltimore, got a cart, opened a cart in the bar, in the Pioneer Square equivalent in Baltimore, Fells Point.
Yeah.
Now he has 3 coffee shops.
Cha-ching.
He just saw the opportunity. It hadn't hit Baltimore yet. And he saw the moment and seized the moment.
And you know who else seizes the moment? Sheriff Keith Swank in Pierce County. This person is a prolific poster on social media, and the News Tribune has a story about this regarding just how often and the type and the substance of the posts that he is putting out there on X. This is a wild story because, this is a person who gets paid by the taxpayers, and the question is
he's elected official.
Elected official.
He's elected official.
And it leads us to ask, how much time are you spending posting on the glowing rectangle in your pocket, and how much time are you spending actually doing your job? He considers all this prolific posting as part of his job duties. And how much time are you posting these days, Spike?
I try. Far too much.
Really, far too much.
Far too. And you know what? No, and not nearly enough. How's that? I interact with people far too often on social media.
Does it depend on what's going on in the news and how much you want to get engaged with a story that's really taking off?
Oftentimes it's with people that I have relationships with that I know, that I comment on things that are going on in their lives. They celebrate moments in their lives. I get involved in that capacity. Last couple of days with the news of the day being what it is, I've been very involved on social media with different people that I disagree with, that I agree with. I try to use the social media to make my point. I try to bring researched points. People don't agree with me, and I'm often wrong. Nobody's perfect, but I try to stay engaged with that. But with that regard, we're in a medium where and to Sheriff Swank's credit, how people interact with their elected officials, with the news of the day, with their communities, with their neighbors, it's evolving to a social media-based communications world. And if he's reaching into this arena and playing in this arena, I give him credit for knowing that's where your audience is. But I'll counter that by saying I think the guy spends way too much time on social media.
Yeah.
I think his job is to be the sheriff of Pierce County. They have a public information officer. They probably have a social media manager at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Swank is a provocateur.
Sure.
And I think he sees a bigger calling for himself outside of the meek little Pierce County Sheriff's Office. He wants to be a national media star, saying the things his audience wants to hear, throwing red meat to the base.
The problem with elected officials posting ad nauseum on social media is that space on the internet is not conducive to healthy, robust discussion or debate or an examining of the issues or an uplifting back and forth. It always leads to worse and worse things.
In fact, I'd go one further and say it's geared not to.
Yeah, it's designed specifically not to.
Rational thought and fact-based arguments don't light people up.
But it also rewards the chaos and the negativity and the incendiary stuff and the inflammatory stuff.
It's easier to build a mob than it is a university.
And the prototype for this is our president, who's posting constantly on social media. And I do believe there is somewhat of a ripple effect and, dare I say, a trickle-down effect to that dynamic because the leader of the free world is doing it constantly. And
that's how he governs.
He's at the highest seat of power in the nation. Works for him. Maybe I should take a page out of that playbook and see if it works for me. There's also a flooding the zone type phenomenon here, which is algorithms and YouTube and X and Facebook. They reward people that are most active on these websites.
Sure,
so I recently started a YouTube page for someone, and I've been really kind of doing research and data analysis to try to figure out how to make this channel take off.
Okay.
The people that are just posting constantly for a year, 2 years, eventually you see that little chart start to go up in terms of views.
Yeah.
And it really rewards. If you're extremely active on our platform, you will eventually get eyeballs. I remember, may he rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I sort of watched his trajectory from being an absolute nobody to becoming a somebody and one of the most influential people in terms of commentary in the conservative movement in America. And when he was a nothing, that guy posted like every minute on X, interacting with people, throwing out one thing after another. You'd be on one issue, you'd immediately go to another issue, and all of a sudden the followers just start shooting through the roof.
There comes a point of posting and growth where exponentially gets traction.
Critical mass.
Critical mass. That's exactly the term I was looking for. But is that the right way to govern?
No, I don't. I don't think it's the right way to govern, and I don't think it's the right way to be an average citizen either. I'm always telling people to get more and more offline, and we'll have better and better outcomes for society.
Jake and I had a conversation with a UW professor, Dimitri Christakis, pediatric studies professor. He's a member of the Children's Hospital Board, or works with Children's Hospital. Talking about how much time kids spend on their phone. High school kids. How many hours a day, and the fact that social media is taking away socialization, and when you govern through social media, we spend far too much time. And with regard to how what interacts people, what triggers people, what engages people, these services are engineered by the smartest people in their fields to enrage us, to engage us, to get us addicted. They're addictive commodities, like cigarettes are, like tobacco is, like gambling is. And we're not allowed to aim those at children, but we aim these at children. We aim these social media at children. And when the president fires people through social media, when he makes major policy announcements through social media, when he makes major, global decisions and global announcements through social media, Where's the filter?
Speaking of gambling, Spike, it is easier and easier for the average person to place bets on their smartphone in all 50 states on nearly anything. You can bet on the Oscars. You can bet on television shows and the direction that the narrative of the program is going to
you
go.
Bet the over-under on the length of the Star Spangled Banner of the national anthem at the Super Bowl. You bet.
Absolutely.
Forget who's winning.
You know who's not exempt from this is the White House. This is a wild story. So last night there was a White House press briefing, and apparently people can vote on how long.
Not vote, gamble.
I'm sorry, vote.
No.
Put their hard-earned dollars up. Betting how long or how short a White House press briefing will go. And not only can you place the bet before the press briefing begins, you can do real-time bets so the odds change throughout the duration of the press briefing. And so last night, and this is kind of visual, I encourage everyone to go to YouTube right now and check out the KIRO radio live stream because we're going to play a video and audio of Carolyn Leavitt, who's the White House press secretary. And Joe, what was the over-under on how long the press briefing would go? It was like an hour and a half?
Yeah, so I think there was a night at the end, by the time it ended, there was a 90% chance it would go over 90 minutes, I think. And
she kept going.
Well, because she was coming up to the mark.
Right.
And so the odds were getting really negative for people that were betting the under. In other words, if you put up $10 and you bet the under, you could have won maybe $100, $200 with just that small wager because the chances of her going under were so slim.
90, yeah, she was getting up. Yeah.
But then this happened.
Lila Morris. The Biden administration and mainstream media lied and told Americans Roseanne Boylan died of a drug overdose on Capitol steps. Her family is now asking for an investigation. Is the administration aware of the circumstances of her death, and will there be an investigation finally?
Well, for an investigation, I will have to defer you to either the FBI or the Department of Justice, and I'm sorry to have to do that. But with respect to all of the facts that you just laid out, the White House relished the opportunity yesterday to actually create a new website to share the facts with the American public, but also all those in this room. We knew the media would be covering January 6th quite a bit because they think it's something that the American people are still believing their lies on. They think it's something that still helps their case against this president. Obviously not, or else he wouldn't have been reelected in an overwhelming fashion in November of last year. And so I would encourage everyone to take a look at the website. It's quite well done. And thank you all very much. It's great to be back with you.
Thank you. Now, it kind of seems like there's nothing out of the ordinary to the layperson, but there's some hints that she might have been aware of the over-under and sort of then abruptly ended the press conference, rewarding people who had come in at the last minute and bet big on the under.
I think she had 1,000 on the under. Did she push it wide right?
I mean, why, that's the crazy thing.
She threw it.
Why not? Anybody in that administration could have bet on that, and they're sitting there like, it's not illegal.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I mean, you could instantly make thousands of dollars in a moment.
Yeah, how are you allowed to bet on something you've got control over the outcome
Because we live in one great big casino in America now, Spike. That's why. And it's ripe for exploitation and fraud and insider trading, and it's happening everywhere. It's ubiquitous. There's like no regulation on this stuff anymore. And it's sort of this bargain that we've decided we want as the American people. And I don't think we've fully grasped the extent of the negative consequences of this. This could be one example, or are we getting into a conspiratorial type thing here?
Well, there's no way to know. But the fact that there's no oversight as to who is allowed to and not allowed to, how's that not insider trading? You know, I mean, if you can bet on how long the press conference is and there's no governance on who gets to bet and who doesn't, and you get control over how long it goes, that's the definition.
Yeah, but it's a completely unregulated marketplace.
Completely.
Like,
I mean, it's the Wild West.
Yeah.
If I think she should, well, you're right, you can't. I'm a pipe dreamer. You know, she shouldn't be able to place a bet. I guess she can somebody place a bet for her, I'm sure. But
when did we decide collectively that we're going to throw off so many safeguards on society?
Maybe I'm missing the headline here. I'm burying the lead here. Should we be betting on how long the press briefing goes?
I think there's a lot of young men who are living in their parents' basement that have some time on their hands and either are getting rich or staying consummately poor.
Jake and I had this conversation earlier in the week about the proliferation of sports betting and the commonality of sports betting and how it's in your pocket now. You used to have to know a bookie to make a bet. Now you don't even have to go to Vegas or Atlantic City, God forbid, or even a casino to make a bet.
To smoke weed, you used to have a dealer, and it used to be a lot more difficult to do it.
And there's a reason, because addiction's a problem. When you can gamble in your pocket, the amount of young men who gamble is just skyrocketing. The amount of bankruptcies brought about by gambling is skyrocketing. Every time you see an ad for gambling, you see, if you've got a problem, call 1-800, I got a problem. I mean, there's a reason they put this thing in the commercial.
What do you think, dear listener? 888-973-5476. Want to hear from you. Chime in. We might read some of your texts at the end of the show today. It's Greg Tomlin and Spike O'Neill in for John Curley. Let's send it on over to Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thank you, sir. Seattle Sports has our update, and it is busy on I-5 between Tacoma and Seattle. In fact, Tacoma to Seattle is an hour and 25-minute commute due to our long-term collision north 5 at South 288. That's blocking 2 right lanes, and your backup starts way back at the Fife curve. Southbound drivers, you're stuck in that looky-loo backup starting from 405 to the scene. Seattle to Tacoma right around an hour and 5 minutes. Now we're seeing volumes thicken up in both directions of the Valley Freeway as drivers look for alternate routes. Northbound 167 still a much better option than North 5, but southbound 167, it's a 1-hour trip between Renton and Puyallup. Our Lake Bridges are looking good this afternoon. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both pushing 50 minutes. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
After voters made it clear they want change,
that I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you, gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident Book Series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The mayor of Seattle is out with a statement tonight saying she is furious after federal immigration agents detained 3 people in North Seattle.
It is unacceptable to kidnap people who are simply going about their lives. There is no place for this in Seattle.
Katie Wilson saying she's now working with the police and city attorney to, quote, keep the people of Seattle safe. The police chief confirmed federal agents were conducting enforcement duties along Aurora Avenue yesterday. We have reached out to ICE for comments. No word yet on the people they detained. Meantime, in Portland, 2 people are now in the hospital after being shot by federal agents in East Portland today. This happened around 2:15 p.m. We're told that Customs and Border Protection agents were involved. More details to come there. This all coming on the heels of that deadly shooting in Minneapolis yesterday, an ICE agent shooting and killing a woman there. CBS's Linda Kenyon reports Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in this afternoon.
The vice president spoke about turning down the temperature following the shooting.
The best way to turn down the temperature is to tell people to take their concerns about immigration policy to the ballot box,
while simultaneously turning up the temperature.
You people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack.
Vance said the woman who was killed was trying to ram the officer with her vehicle. Various video angles raise questions, and an investigation is just beginning. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump is lashing out at a few Republicans who voted with Democrats on a resolution to limit his ability to make more attacks on Venezuela. Missouri Republican Josh Hawley was one of 5 in his party who supported that resolution.
I don't see this as a backward-looking thing. I see this as a forward-looking thing.
if this resolution is limited to Venezuela.
Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray also spoke in favor of that war powers resolution. She says the president has gone too far.
First, Trump was just bombing alleged drug boats. Then Trump was just seizing oil shipments. And the next thing you know, this administration is sending the military to abduct a foreign leader.
The House today voted to extend tax subsidies for Affordable Care Act plans for 3 years. CBS's Allison Keyes reports.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 196.
The debate was contentious. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries supported the bipartisan bill
to protect the health care of the American people.
But Republican Representative Jason Smith of Missouri blamed Democrats.
They are the only ones that have voted to take away these subsidies.
The tax breaks lowered health insurance costs for some $22 million. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk. It's 4:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, this one brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Tacoma to Seattle is really a struggle today because of our long-term collision of Federal Way. Tacoma to Seattle is going to take an hour and 25 minutes. The crash is North 5 at South 288, blocking 2 right lanes. Had 4 lanes blocked for a couple hours when the backup starts in Fife. Southbound drivers are in that looky-loo backup from 405 to the scene. Seattle to Tacoma, an hour and 5 minutes. Now, both directions of Highway 99 are filling in through Federal Way as drivers ditch I-5. We're seeing volumes pick up northbound 167 as well, but it doesn't get heavy till you get into Renton. Southbound 167, however, is really picking up the slack. It's a 1-hour trip between Renton and Puyallup. Up in South Everett, we've got a new collision South 5 at 128th, blocking 2 left lanes. You're backed up to the Boeing Freeway. And North 5 in Seattle at Olive Way, a new collision in your left center lane has traffic backed up approaching the West Seattle Bridge. Text APP to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Now to your forecast, seeing some snow showers still in the mountains and also some rain in the North Sound today. A few morning showers for tomorrow, highs in the upper 40s. Right now, looking at 45 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
KIRO 7 TV's Pinpoint Alert Days. It's your advance notice to stay safe. When weather threatens to damage and disrupt your daily life, KIRO 7 sounds the alarm, preparing you days in advance. Stay informed, stay prepared with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Alert Days only on KIRO 7 News.
All right, this hour of the John Curley Show brought to you by Bucky's Auto Repair. Welcome back, everybody.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in for the John Curley Show. Coming up shortly, we'll talk about the breaking news of 2 people that were shot by the feds, apparently, in Portland, and the ongoing protests in Minneapolis over the ICE-involved shooting there. Are we at an inflection point? Are these areas a powder keg? What are the implications for us up here in Seattle with a recent ICE raid? We'll get into all that in just a few minutes. First, a pressing question for you, Spike. Sure. When you go to the pub, what's the favorite game you would play?
Ooh, my parents owned a bar.
Preferred game.
We had a shuffle bowl.
Shuffle bowl.
You know, shuffleboard with a quoit, they called it, right?
Okay.
And you would slide it down the board and
Love that.
Shuffleboard.
And you try to get it as close to the edge as possible.
Yeah, there are markings at the edge of the board. You knock your other opponent off and keep your quoits and theirs off. We had one that was just, the bowling machine. You use the quoit and you slide electronically. They use little triggers. And they
Classic.
Yeah, pick up the 7-10 split with electronic. Yeah, that was my favorite bar game.
I'm an old-fashioned guy. Pool was always my favorite. I know it takes up a lot of space and it's not preferable for a lot of bars because you want to pack as many people as you can. But I spent hours at the pool table at the Bigfoot bar and eatery in Spokane when I went to Whitworth University.
Nice. Okay.
Fond memories of that. Darts are another preferred choice,
I love darts.
although a little dangerous. A little dangerous.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty spiky, and if people are enjoying too many pitchers, it could lead to a liability for an establishment. So Luke Littler is this professional darts player, and I had not heard his name till this week. And apparently he's the cat's pajamas. Pat McAfee calls him one of the greatest athletes of all time. He's only the fourth player to win back-to-back world titles in darts. I don't know if this is exactly going to lead to many endorsement deals. Spike, how many people really watch competitive darts?
You know what? I love watching good people who can really throw. I mean, it's fun.
Anyone who's at the pinnacle of their activity is fascinating in some respects.
Are you a fan of the Ted Lasso?
I watched the first season. That was enough.
Have you seen the dart scene?
Nah, maybe.
Where he takes on the ex-husband of the owner of the club.
Oh, I forget what happens.
Well, he sandbags the guy into a competitive game of what's that game? I don't know what the game even is called.
Darts. As far as I
would start. There's a game. Yeah, but you got to get you get close out 20s, 19s, blah blah blah, and the bowls, blah blah. Anyway, cricket. He sandbags this guy and takes him out. I love watching quality players throw darts. But I thought you said McAfee said he was one of the greatest athletes.
Well, and it begs the question.
To be fair, it was a guy on his show.
On his show,
maybe arguably the greatest athlete. And do you want to hear it?
Okay.
Is this just one of those clickbaity things?
Luke Surgical stands firm. He is still here. He takes another step towards repeat glory.
Ty, tell us about Luke Littler and what he's doing for the dart community and him finally basically telling the crowd that this is my world. You're lucky to be living in it right now.
Yeah, he is arguably the greatest athlete in the world right now. Most dominant athlete, I think you could probably say. And, hey, guess what? It's happened to Patrick Mahomes. This guy starts winning Super Bowls. And while he is a very likable, lovable guy, eventually people just say, you know what, I hate this son.
18 years old, by the way.
It's the age-old question, though. What constitutes a sport? Do you have to break a sweat in order for it to be called a sport?
That was always my threshold, too.
Yes.
Break a sweat.
But a cool day.
Risk injury.
Okay, but, I've been to Willows Run Golf Course on a brisk November afternoon. And you walk for 3 hours, or better yet, ride, and you don't break a sweat at all.
No.
My back might hurt a little bit the next day, so maybe that constitutes a sport.
I have my threshold for what is a sport has lowered. I've evolved.
You have.
In my definition of sport.
This is hard-hitting stuff, by the way. And
athlete at the same time.
An athlete, yes, because it takes physical coordination, hand-eye coordination, physical motor skill. It's a training. You dial in your throw, whether it be golf or darts. They're sports. There's physical activity, there's physical skill, there's competition.
Physical skill has to be part of it.
Absolutely.
So playing video games could not be considered a sport. It's hand-eye coordination, it's precision, it's concentration.
There are leagues of video sport leagues now.
They'll pack arenas.
They will. Kids
to watch people play.
Kids go to college on scholarships for video sports. I'm not kidding.
So my 10-year-old is into Zelda. Loves Zelda. And it's one of those lesser of all the other evils that I've sort of accepted, because Zelda, you're kind of exploring a world and solving puzzles, and there's a kind of a critical thinking aspect to the game. It's just not mind-numbing stupidness, right? But here's the thing. One day he couldn't figure out this puzzle, and so I said, let's look up a YouTube video of somebody solving it.
Right.
I regret it to this day.
Gave him the cheat code, huh?
It gave him the cheat code.
Yeah.
Not only that, he just wants to watch the channel now. He doesn't even want to play the game anymore. There's something in the human brain of like, wait, I'm still getting the dopamine hit of Zelda, but I don't need to do anything. I can watch another person do it.
Well,
and so the default setting is now translated to, I'd rather watch this on YouTube. And I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Well, that's just the same thing with us watching golf. I could go out and play golf, but it's easy for me to watch golf.
Yes.
Right? I could play football. I'm not at my age anymore, but it's been more fun to watch.
What's
football.
crazy is that's instinctual even from an early age.
Right.
And I'm like, don't you like the sensation, Joe, of you figuring out yourself?
Yeah.
No, not really.
It's one thing. I mean, I can't play football anymore. I can't hit a golf ball. I have no consistency, and yet I haven't put in the time. But people would rather watch video games being played than actually play video games. That's
I
just
don't
a
get it.
Dangerous thing. Darts is a sport, if I may be so bold.
Is playing pool a sport?
Sure. It takes absolute physical coordination, hand-eye coordination, incredible skill. You have to practice, get to a level of expertise. Is poker a game or a sport? That's the one that always...
That's a game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Thank you. But
unless you get the meat sweats from the free food at the casino. I mean, then
your
maybe...
eyes go bad from, blinking, looking at the cards like... So, yeah, poker's a game, not a sport. Dart's a sport. Golf's a sport. I think we're in agreement there.
Okay, here's a related story in terms of what is the most popular sport in America today. I think if you ask most people without hesitation, they would probably say football.
Yeah, easily.
And a not so close second would be basketball. But there is a sport that apparently has surpassed baseball in terms of popularity. And it is
darts.
Darts, exactly. Foosball. No. Soccer.
I'm not surprised.
Is apparently number 3. Fans' self-declared favorite sport, share of fans' percentage of soccer just moved past baseball. I was a little surprised by that.
I'm not, because not even this generation. The generation before was a generation of soccer teams, soccer moms. More kids played soccer in America.
And they've grown up in the system now, and there's more teams to watch.
Right, and the European League coverage of the European leagues in the world.
More accessible.
More accessible. World Cup's coming. Soccer's having its day. The fact that baseball got passed up, it's heartbreaking, but I understand it.
After one of the best seasons of baseball in recent memory.
But baseball's trying everything to maintain relevance in a short attention span world, from the pitch clock to the extra innings as a guy starting on second base. We can't even watch extra innings if a guys have to earn a real run. I mean, baseball's seeing the writing on the wall. America's attention spans are diminishing. We can't even watch a 9-inning baseball game anymore.
Greg Tallman, Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. Nate Connors, tell us a little bit about what's going on the roadways.
All right, it ain't pretty, that's for sure. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, specifically through Federal Way. We've got a collision north 5 and south 288 that's been there for a few hours now. Had 4 lanes blocked at its worst. Right now, 2 right lanes remain blocked. So right now, Tacoma to Seattle, that's an hour and 25-minute trip. Your backup starts in Fife. Southbound has a looky-loo backup from 405 to the scene. It's thinning out the further south you go now in the South 5 backup, but Seattle to Tacoma is still taking right around an hour. Southbound 167's been taken on the overflow, and so it's packed from 405 into Auburn, Renton to Auburn, 45 minutes. That's a 20-minute delay. Up in South Everett, we've still got a collision South 5 approaching 128th, blocking 2 left lanes. You're backed up to the Boeing Freeway. North 5 at Olive Way, a collision blocks your left center lane. And over in Bellevue, we've got a new collision North 405 at Southeast 8th. This one blocks 3 left lanes. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC February 6th, only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
When extreme weather hits Western Washington,
a flash flood warning after a critical levee breaks along.
KIRO News Radio is the first place you turn.
We have team coverage this morning.
Live in Auburn, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Which communities are hit hardest?
Skagit River again going to flood to major levels.
What it means for your commute.
Northbound 167 underwater.
MyNorthwest.com and KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. MeetTheNovaks.com. Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not so wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe, for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company.
Pure talk.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Electrical issues? Call Home Comfort Alliance for EV chargers, standby generators, panel upgrades, and more. Save up to $1,000 at homecomfortalliance.com today.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. What's better than an episode of your favorite TV program? How about a bonus episode? That's what many Stranger Things fans were hoping for after what some might call a lackluster series finale. Apparently, there was this rumor that Netflix was holding on to a secret Easter egg bonus episode that they might reveal to give us the satiating ending everybody had really longed and hoped for. Spike, I for one made it through one season of Stranger Things and thought, I'm good. That seems like a really good season. It's
an innovative show.
Well
written, well acted. Yeah.
I don't buy into this narrative that we need 5 or 6 seasons after one season was great. I love the British Office that had 2 seasons and called it quits. Wow. And it's this beautiful, pure thing in all its glory. Oh, wow. I do like the theme song to Stranger Things.
Fantastic.
But, Joe, you did watch the finale.
I did, yeah. I was not like a fanatic. I think I really enjoyed the first season, then kind of like half watched the rest of them, got lost. Didn't really know what was happening. The finale was, I guess, okay. I
guess okay.
Yeah,
that's what they're looking for.
It wasn't disappointing. It wasn't awesome, but they. It also, well, I guess I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It would be weird to have anything following that. You know, they seem to tie it all together.
I made this point in the pre-show meeting, but I don't know if there's ever really been a fully satisfying series finale of a beloved TV show after a long run. And my hypothesis my theory on this is that innately we want something we love to keep continuing. Okay. And when it comes to an end, there's no real good way to make it end because you've loved these characters for so long. You're invested in the story. You've invested time. Yeah. And there's something deep down in all of us that wants life to continue. So when it's ended, it's always going to be bitter, leave you with a bitter taste. But I think the Seinfeld finale was panned. The Sopranos finale, Mad Men.
Yeah.
I don't know, like tens of millions of people watched the MASH finale. Was that in the 80s?
I remember it, sure.
Yeah.
When they all closed up shop and left the 4077? You bet.
But these people run out of material, and I think it's far better and satisfying to do a one-off and just say, no, that was beautiful, and we're going to tell new stories now. But instead, it's how much milk can you get out of this for how long?
That's the American way. That's why The Office had 2 seasons in Britain and how many, 95 seasons here or whatever it was. I mean, it's we don't know when to
That's
enough
right.
is enough.
Well, because
that's why
it becomes
we sequel every movie 4 or 5 times.
It becomes more a business decision than an artistic one. It starts in some kind of artistic realm of, this will make people laugh. This is hilarious. This is enriching.
But
and then
to be
it's how
fair,
much cash can we get?
That's all an industry. It's an industry. To be fair,
Yeah,
you can't beat them up for wanting to make money, but I hate the 3, 4, and 5s of any good movie. There's a new Toy Story coming out. That'll be 5.
That will be
5.
Well, Quentin Tarantino, the famous filmmaker, that would be
great.
I'd watch that.
Right?
Where Woody just blows away Buzz Lightyear and chops him up into pieces.
Toy Story 3, where they ran everybody into an incinerator. My kid is traumatized to this day from that.
I was going to say Quentin Tarantino won't watch past the 3rd Toy Story because he believes it's one of the best trilogies of all time. And he said there cannot be a better movie than Toy Story 3. I tend to agree with him, but I did see the teaser for Toy Story 5.
Yeah.
And it's a genius idea. It depends on where they go with the story.
Right. It's
but
tablet.
Someone pulls out a tablet and the toys are all frightened. And I thought,
imagination's died.
Much like the Knives Out series, where director-filmmaker Rian Johnson uses the murder mystery story as sort of a backdrop to give various social commentaries on where culture is.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
genius.
Toy Story could kind of be a vehicle for that into the future as well. Because there's always going to be toys, but culture is shifting and the habits of kids are shifting. And I don't know. I hope that they, what's the term I'm looking for? Make tablets look bad for children. That's what I hope the movie does.
They've got to. They've got to. They got toys to sell.
Yeah, right.
Not tablets to sell. They got toys to sell.
Greg Tomlin and Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. Stick around. We'll be right back. But first, let's send it on over to Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Greg. Tacoma to Seattle, still about an hour, 20-minute commute due to this long-term collision. North 5 at 288, blocking 2 right lanes. Had 4 lanes blocked at its worst. Your backup starts in Fife. It is slowly thinning out here. Southbound drivers are, you got that looky-loo backup. That's starting to thin down as well. Seattle to Federal Way is going to take you 50 minutes. Your backup starts at Interurban, gets really thick along South Center. By the time you hit 272nd, you're in the clear now. In South Everett, our collision South 5 at 128th has been cleared. It's on your left shoulder. Your backup now starts prior to the Boeing Freeway. Everett to Seattle is going to take you 50 minutes, 25 from Linwood. North 5 at Denny Way, it's a collision in your left center lane that's got you backed up to the Michigan curve. Northbound 405 at Southeast 8th and Bellevue, a collision blocks 3 left lanes. You're backed up into Factoria. Renton to Bellevue is going to take you a half hour. And westbound 520 at Montlake Boulevard, a crash blocks your right lane. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO News Radio app.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Royteen. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
She and Ursula, weekdays from 9 to noon on KIRO News Radio.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to kick off 2026 on a healthier path? Our New Year, New You event has everything you need, from saltwater hot tubs to rejuvenating saunas and cold plunges, or staying active with a swim spa. We've got the perfect way to help you feel your best. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup now through January 11th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So there are some folks who probably think that they are in the clear because they haven't been hounded by IRS agents for the last few weeks. But that is a false sense of comfort.
It's a false sense of comfort. And I understand why people feel that way, Jason, because with the IRS shut down, all the revenue agents, the auditors, the revenue officers, the tax collectors, they weren't in their office. And the IRS stopped sending out notices because they knew that, people just couldn't respond to them because there weren't a lot of IRS personnel around. And so you get comfortable, you get complacent. But I tell you, folks, really, if you got an IRS issue, it's better to take care of it now than later. It really is.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967. Or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
The 37th annual Holiday Magic was another one for the record books. Thanks to everyone who donated.
You always come through.
It's not too late to donate. Just go to mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters. Tune in this weekend when we'll talk with local business owners about everything in and around your home. Join us on Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO News Radio, or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A shooting in Portland, Oregon leaves 2 people hospitalized. KOIN TV's Ariel Yakabazi is at the scene.
The vehicle involved is surrounded by both yellow and red tape. We have Portland police here on scene investigating 2 people shot by federal officers. The federal agents are Customs and Border Patrol agents, as we have learned from Portland police.
The Department of Homeland Security says on social media when agents identified themselves, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the agents. The FBI's Portland office says it is investigating. Portland resident Dewey Church.
I think it's sad that it happened, but violence is violence, and it will happen where it happened.
This one day after a woman was shot to death by an ICE officer in Minneapolis, where CBS's Tony DeCopel reports.
In the dark this morning, we noticed Tyrese, who asked us not to reveal his last name. He was home Wednesday when he heard gunshots and ran out to find chaos around Good's car, as he showed in this video.
This lady got blood.
Tyrese says the woman with her face smeared with blood, crying for help, is Good's wife.
Can I go check a pulse? No! Back up!
Now! I'm a physician! In another video, a bystander claiming he was a doctor offered to check Good's pulse.
Tensions remain high after yesterday's shooting, with protests in Minneapolis and several major U.S. cities today. A bipartisan group of lawmakers has passed legislation extending expired health care subsidies for those covered by the Affordable Care Act. The bill now heads to the Senate. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
We will consider in good faith anything that emerges from the Senate in a bipartisan way if it decisively deals with the Republican health care crisis.
House Speaker Mike Johnson tried to block today's vote. The legislation passed 230 to 196. In a rare move, NASA is cutting a space station mission short due to a medical issue involving an astronaut. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
NASA canceled a spacewalk because of the issue, but insists it is not an emergency.
We're not immediately disembarking and getting the astronaut down.
But NASA's chief medical officer, James Polk, indicated it's not an all clear either.
It leaves that lingering risk and lingering question as to what that diagnosis is, and that means there's some lingering risk for that astronaut on board. And so always we err on the side of the astronaut's health and welfare.
NASA will announce in the coming days when the crew of 4 will return to Earth.
President Trump says he is directing the federal government to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, a move he says would help reduce mortgage rates. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up, Seattle's mayor condemns an ICE operation in the city.
I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power.
More from Katie Wilson coming up after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, it is busy out there, Aaron. Tacoma to Olympia still struggling at an hour and 20-minute commute due to our long-term collision North 5 at South 288, blocking 2 right lanes. Your backup starts in Fife. Seattle to Federal Way is at 50 minutes as we get back to normal South 5, but it's still heavy from Interurban Avenue down to South 272nd. Heading out of South Everett, our collision South 5 at 128 has been moved to your left shoulder, but it's still packed prior to the Boeing Freeway down to the scene. Everett to Seattle's at 50 minutes, 25 from Linwood. North 5 at Denny Way, it's a collision in your left lane. You're backed up to the Michigan curve. We still have our collision in Bellevue, now North 405 at Southeast 8, taking up 3 left lanes. You're backed up into Factoria. It's a half hour from Renton to Bellevue. And now westbound 520, just before Montlake Boulevard, a crash blocks 2 right lanes. That leaves the HOV lane and the exit lane of Montlake open. Traffic is quickly stacking up right now, starting in 92nd. Bellevue to Seattle on 520s at 45 minutes, 35 minutes on I-90. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle's mayor is criticizing a federal immigration raid along Aurora Avenue. Mayor Katie Wilson says armed agents in an unmarked vehicle detained 3 men at a cemetery yesterday. Wilson acknowledges the city has little authority over immigration enforcement.
So I'm working with Police Chief Barnes, City Attorney Evans, immigrant rights groups, and local leaders to identify every possible legal argument, public resource, and creative tool we can use to keep the people of Seattle safe.
No details on the people who were detained by ICE, but City Council member Bob Kettle says it appears federal agents first confronted the men at a Home Depot. Now to Portland, where city leaders say 2 people are in the hospital following a shooting involving federal agents. The Department of Homeland Security now saying U.S. Border Patrol was conducting a targeted stop on a vehicle linked to a Venezuelan gang in a recent shooting. DHS says the driver tried to run over the federal officers and 1 agent fired their weapon. FBI is leading that investigation. Officials say the situation is still developing. A 17-year-old Shoreline boy pleads not guilty to killing a 15-year-old girl who went missing last year. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
King County prosecutors charged 17-year-old Kamaria Onaki with the murder of 15-year-old Ajane Brooks. Brooks was found dead last June in a Shoreline apartment 3 days after she went missing. Casey McNerthney with the King County Prosecutor's Office says he is being held on $5 million bail.
When you see the added allegation that he was attempting to sexually exploit the victim before her death, the reasons for that high bail amount are even more apparent.
Charges include murder with a firearm firearm enhancement, human trafficking, and felony assault. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
More than 100 cats have been taken from just one home in Buckley. Officer Jared Howell says the cats survived, but the state of the home was deplorable.
Many of the cats are suffering from a variety of health conditions, and several were transported immediately to a center for medical treatment.
Police department says shelters need help caring for the cats. If you have crates or extra cat food and litter, you can drop those off at the Buckley Police Departments. Weather update now, seeing some spotty showers in the North Sound tonight. A few morning showers tomorrow, highs in the upper 40s for Friday, drying out on Saturday. Right now, 46 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in for John Curley. Heavy news week. Is it too much to say country on edge? Maybe that's an exaggeration at this point.
No, I don't think it is. I think as you see tonight's headlines with the shootings in Portland, two people shot as they tried to
by the feds apparently.
By the feds, but according to reporting so far, they were stopped for immigration issue and then tried to use their vehicle as a weapon. According to early reports, we're still getting information as it comes in. But you got protests in Portland, you got protests in Cincinnati, Boston, Seattle's got a vigil planned tonight. There was a protest last night in Seattle, New York, Minneapolis, of course. No, I think it's Nation on Edge is a fair descriptive.
Who are the leaders that are bringing the country together and calling for peace, calm, and wisdom and kindness, and extolling the virtue of the American justice system and calling for cooler heads to prevail? Because when big groups of people get on edge, look out, Spike. I mean, this is tale as old as time. It's not difficult for a mob to spill over into outrage and crazy things start to happen. I mean, we saw this in 2020. We've seen this play before. And yeah, there were other factors at play with the pandemic, and a lot of people had cabin fever, and we were all on edge, it seemed like, at the time. But I just think as you see momentum start to grow for unease, and it makes me very worried.
Well, you said who are the elected officials calling for calm and patience and professionalism and rationale? One man stands alone.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Who's that?
The guy, Tom Homan.
Holman. Whoa.
Have you not heard Tom Holman's statement? I mean, I'm trying not to be facetious about this, but I'm watching the coverage of this tragic shooting, tragic loss of life yesterday. Mm-hmm. We played it on our show today, so I'm sure it's in the system. Might be under Jake's for Laura's audios there. Tom Holman gave the most reasoned, rational, professional, said, I'm not going to make any comments on this until there's a full investigation. It'd be irresponsible to do so.
He's the White House border czar. I saw an extended interview on CBS with him that I think was recorded before the shooting in Minneapolis, but he's since given subsequent interviews afterwards. And I agree with you. I did see that excerpt where he said it's too early to make a judgment.
Yes, and he's the only one saying that.
Yet the mayor of Minneapolis, the governor of Minnesota, Kristi Noem, and Donald Trump have weighed in, and they couldn't be farther apart in their opinions about what happened, and all it's doing is serving to inflame tensions. And yes, it appears there's another Fed-involved shooting in Oregon, and we'll learn more about that as we get details. And in fact, we have more information already about the ICE agent who was involved in the fatal shooting of a woman in Minneapolis. It adds more context to the situation. I'm curious to see if it changes your mind, Spike, and how you interpret the events that unfolded on that tragic day. So apparently this ICE agent was involved in an incident where they were trying to apprehend an illegal immigrant sex offender back in June. I've seen the video of this, and the officer attempts to put his arm in the window. The illegal immigrant starts driving away, and he got dragged some 30 feet by this car, couldn't get his arm out of the window.
A window that he had to break with a baton to
That's
try to
right.
extract this violent criminal, illegal immigrant, violent criminal.
Suffered some pretty gruesome injuries.
32 stitches, I heard.
32 stitches, was on the mend for quite a while. Then returned to work. There was also speculation yesterday by some in the media and elsewhere that perhaps it was a lack of training that contributed to this ICE agent's decision to pull the trigger on this woman in her car, because there's a narrative out there which says the Trump administration has rushed headlong into getting as many ICE agents out on the beat as possible, and so training be damned, we're just going to give people guns and have them go arrest people on a whim. That narrative has been debunked. This ICE agent would have received hundreds of hours of training, apparently. I don't know the exact number, but this was a well-seasoned agent.
I heard a 10-year veteran. I heard, reporting 280 hours of training in this situation. But then
does that change anything for you with what happened yesterday, knowing a little more context about the individual involved here?
Oh, no, I don't think
Not
so.
really.
And I'll tell you why. Because, a couple things. The fact that he was involved 6 months earlier in an investigation where he was dragged by a violent criminal they were trying to apprehend, but there was an investigation whether or not he used excessive force or not. I don't believe that he was found to do so, or he wouldn't be back on the streets doing what he's doing again today. But if someone is involved in an incident where he is his life is put in danger by a criminal fleeing a scene, and his body's dragged 30 feet, he needs serious medical conditions. Why is this guy still doing the job he's doing? Why isn't he doing something different? Doesn't he have PT? I don't know, but doesn't he have some kind of lingering opinion about the job he's doing, given the fact that he has been assaulted with a vehicle? But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
This guy's highly trained, experienced. Where's the training in de-escalation? Where's the training in use of lethal force? Where's the training that you're not supposed to stand in front of a vehicle because that exacerbates the situation? Again, where's the de-escalation? This woman in Minnesota, Good is her last name, was her last name, I apologize, has been vilified by every aspect of this administration and the right-wing media. I'm watching coverage today about she's a radical, she's, a provocateur, whatever it may be. She was following this ICE patrol throughout the course of the day, alerting people that they were in the area. That was her civil protest.
Disrupting legal activities of a federal agency.
And that's fair. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's legal and if it's not legal. If she has civil rights to do so, there's arguments on both fronts. But she had blocked the road with her vehicle. She was asked to move the vehicle. Right?
Demanded to move her vehicle.
She demanded to move
and
the
then
vehicle.
demanded to get out of the vehicle.
Well, and we can all look at the video, interpret it whatever way you want to interpret it. I'm sure how you feel about this administration and these policies will dictate how you see the same video I'm seeing. But if she was trying to leave the scene, she had been directed by one agent to leave the area immediately, move your car, leave the area. And as she was trying to do that, or she was making the decision that it was the right thing to do, agents approached her car and tried to reach in and apprehend her. The guy went up there to reach his hand through her door trying to open her car door. As another officer, the one who ended up shooting and killing her, moves to the front and stands in front of her vehicle and draws his weapon. And you can say he drew the weapon.
And this was the guy that was dragged by a car just 6 months ago. This was the guy who had been
already involved in a car involved in physical assault on his life with a vehicle.
So you can see why he might be concerned that this woman could potentially end my life, because I almost had my life ended just a few months prior with something very similar. So he might reach for the gun a little quicker, thinking, no, that car really is a deadly weapon. I almost died recently.
But going back, and that's fair to say.
I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying that could be an argument made.
It's a reasonable argument to make, and that could very well be the case. And no one knows except him what he was feeling and going through in the moment. But a couple things, if the request was for her to leave the scene, and she was trying to leave the scene, and they cowboy up and go to her car and try to this time remove her from her car for, I'm assuming, arrest for failure to comply, right?
Yeah.
Where's the de-escalation training in this? Where does lethal force? Don't stand in front of the car. As she tried, and I'll backpedal for a second because we don't know what happened and who was doing what. There will be an investigation. The rush to be the first person with the wrong information is rabid.
Yes. Yeah, I find it sickening.
You know, the Secretary of Homeland Security, I said this with Jake earlier, the Secretary of Homeland Security to come out and give just blatantly
those were
false
lies.
Representation of the situation.
I have no patience for that.
You know, and I hate to say this, but thank God there was someone filming this. Otherwise, we would have no idea what the circumstances were that led to this fatal shooting.
But I also have no patience for the likes of Jacob Fry, who goes on an expletive-laden press conference, which is only going to get people more ticked off and more angry.
He's nobody calling this a murder or an execution.
Yeah, they've come to their conclusion already, which I also think is preemptive and wrong.
It's as errant as calling her a domestic terrorist.
Agreed.
That she was trying to kill the officer. But I mean, you can look. I've seen forensic experts looking at this video that her wheels were turned away from the officer as she was trying to leave.
But politicians of old, I think, in a large respect, for better and worse, were cut from a different cloth.
Oh, amen.
And when there's a story that rocks the nation, I come back to time and again the off-the-cuff speech that Robert Kennedy gave after Martin Luther King Jr. was killed in 1968. I believe he was on the campaign trail, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. He gets the news right before he takes a stage. Now, you want to talk about a country on edge.
Yeah,
and Robert Kennedy Jr. had the eyes of the nation on him. He was looking like he was going to be our next president.
Yeah.
And he, again, spoke with no script and gave the most beautiful, poignant message you could ever dream up. At one point, he quotes his favorite poet Euclid from memory, and he says, "In our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart until in our own despair against our will comes wisdom through the awful grace of God. What we in the United States need is not division. What we need in the U.S. is not hatred. What we need in the U.S. is not violence or lawlessness, but love, wisdom, compassion toward one another, and a feeling of justice towards those who still suffer within our country." No one is talking like that right now.
Well, that's what
and it makes me sad and sort of
that's
depressed.
What leadership sounds like.
That's what true leadership is.
And
exactly
right.
And
what we have today is not
And
leadership.
he could have inflamed tensions. He could have said, Black America, you're right to be ticked off tonight, and we need to go out and be even more ticked off. But that's not the job of a leader at a time like that.
Well, but and you're right about the inflammatory language by the mayor of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
But he also said, let's have peaceful protests. He did say that.
That's a bare minimum of what I would have hoped for, but yeah.
We're seeing all these protests. There were no explosions of violence last night in New York, Boston, Seattle, Minnesota. Last night there was no fires burning. There was no, the narrative from conservative media is today, America's, chaos here, chaos there, violent protesters, radical leftists, yada, 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 from the President of the United States all the way on down.
Yeah.
That's not what we're seeing with our own true eyes. There are two narratives coming out of Minneapolis, the federal narrative and the local law enforcement narrative, and they're completely at odds.
And look, I'm not in the habit of defending the Trump administration. Some people who know me know that I've had 3 opportunities to vote for him and have never exercised that opportunity. I'm not a MAGA guy. I'm not a Trump guy. Would this be my immigration policy if I were president? Not necessarily. And at the same time, I think there has been a villainization of ICE here to an extreme where people feel emboldened to get into encounters with ICE because of the reckless advice from people in seats of power who should know better. The lieutenant governor of Minnesota told people that told her constituents, people are being rounded up in the streets with ICE raids. You need to go out there, make your voices heard, and put your bodies on the line. Saying that to people, inflaming tensions, getting them ticked off at ICE. Mm-hmm. And if you're a progressive that doesn't like the policy of this administration and you hear, put my body on the line, maybe that means I will go disrupt ICE activities, which are perfectly legal. When they're rounding up illegal immigrants, that's within their purview of the law.
Are they? Is the pushback against ICE's activities warranted at all? Has ICE done? Have ICE done things that are out of bounds, that are illegal in their own right? Have they rounded up American citizens and detained them without any due process for days on end? Yes, they have in many instances. That's the 8th time ICE has shot into a vehicle yesterday. The 8th incident in which ICE has fired into a vehicle with their weapons.
Okay.
Some may be warranted, some may be not.
I'm not discounting that might be true, 8th time, but then think back to what happened in the month of June with this ICE officer who's arresting an illegal immigrant sex offender, and the guy takes off with his arm still dangling in the car. You could see why there's been 8 shots fired into windows before, because a lot of the work that ICE is doing is taking the worst of the worst people off our streets. And we've now labeled them as they're just breaking the Constitution and they're doing unlawful things and they're all evil people. So go put your bodies on the line against this administration. That is not helping.
Putting your bodies on the line, do you think that's inciting violence against ICE?
What do you think she means by putting bodies on the line?
A woman who parks her car in the middle of the street to block an ICE procession.
Yeah, and you're asking for trouble when you do that. Like, I was talking to my 15-year-old...
Or you could be injured, or could be killed.
I was talking to my 15-year-old daughter last night about this because her school's been talking about it, and she's trying to make sense of it.
Sure, it's a tough world for kids.
She says, and so we watched the video. I'm finally at that stage where I'm like, you're a freshman in high school. Yeah. Welcome to the real world issues. Yeah. A lot of them that I've been protecting you from for so long. But let's talk about this. And my whole thing with her is this is complicated and it's nuanced. And those that are screaming the loudest at your school that they know with utter certainty about what happened here, quiet those voices here and consider all of these factors, Penny. And one of the things I told her, amongst many things, was, hey, Penny, if a law enforcement officer of any kind tells you to do something, do it. I don't care. You keep your hands at 10 and 2 and you comply, and we can work it out later. But this is the one part of society that our government gives lethal force to. And so even if you're in the right, no matter what, if someone barks an order at you, even if you think they're being rude, you comply. I taught that tough lesson to my daughter last night. And now people are going, are you saying she deserved it? No, absolutely not. Please allow for there to be some gray area in this discussion. Many things can be true at the same time. And I just think people are resorting to the most simplistic interpretation and superficial interpretation that fits their political biases that they've already decided on.
We tribed up.
And then they embellish on it and exaggerate it, and it just makes the problem worse. And it sickens me that we see another Fed-involved shooting in Oregon, and I hope it's the last in terms of being related to this story in Minneapolis.
Well said. Well said.
Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill. The conversation continues here on the John Curley Show. Let's send it on over to Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
All right, what a busy night, Greg. Northwest Hope and Healing has our update. Good news, finally in Federal Way, we cleared that long-term crash North 5 and South 288, and we're quickly thinning out now. Tacoma to Seattle, we're down to a 40-minute commute. You're still heavy from the Fife curve to State Route 18. Then you clear out all the way into South Center, and then the backups in South Center aren't terrible. Seattle to Federal Way, 40 minutes. Typical backup, Interurban Avenue down to State Route 516. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is at 45 minutes. Most of this is in the north end from Renton into Auburn. North 5 at Denny Way, that collision now blocks the far left lane. You're bumper to bumper starting at the north end of Boeing Field. In Bellevue, we're making a little progress here. North 405 at Southeast 8th. Our collision that had 3 left lanes blocked is now blocking just the left lane. You're backed up to Cold Creek, Renton to Bellevue, a half hour. And we've got big issues westbound 520, first at 92nd Avenue, collision in your right lane. And then just before Montlake Boulevard, this crash still blocks 2 right lanes. So we're sitting in a bumper-to-bumper backup from 92nd over to Montlake. Bellevue to Seattle on 520, 55 minutes, 40 minutes on I-90. Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration. Get your tickets now for January 31st at nwhopeandhealing.org. KIRO News Radio, Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Veterans, the new year's a good time to re-examine finances. If you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may have a solution.
Many veterans are sitting on a lot of home equity, and even with a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is with today's lower VA loan rates, you can do a VA cash out refinance and pay off your high interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one VA client saved more than $1,200 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or an experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust. From Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
I got to tell you something, Nick. I have really noticed a difference in your energy level since you started going to the Longevity Medical Clinic.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they actually balanced my hormone levels. And when they do that, the largest change I noticed was that now I could sleep.
And then not only get more sleep, to just get more energy, right?
Right. So that all of a sudden that resulted in me, I started running again and doing all these things that I felt so fatigued throughout the day that I couldn't do anymore.
Okay, so at this point, do you want to apologize to me? Because I was always saying to you, every time you'd say, I don't sleep, I don't feel well, I feel kind of off, I'd go, well, you need to get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. And you're always like,
I know. But now it's turned into something fun that we get to go in together.
So I need to hear, you were right.
You were right.
You were right. I should have gone to Longevity Medical Clinic.
I should have.
There we go. Fine.
Yes.
You know the right thing to do. Get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. Take the free health analysis at lmclinic.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. And so we are set.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Seattle is going to win this football game. A single-season franchise record of 14 wins. The 4th #1 seed in franchise history.
Reaction.
Just incredibly proud of them.
Conversation.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com and the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
CBS News special report. One day after the fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE officer in Minneapolis, there has been a shooting involving federal officers in Portland, Oregon. The Department of Homeland Security says U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop when the Venezuelan man in this country illegally weaponized his vehicle. Nathan Vasquez is the Multnomah County District Attorney.
Local officials are very carefully monitoring this, and we're making sure that the interests of this community are well represented and that this investigation is done in a thorough and complete manner.
KOIN TV reporter Ariel Yakabazi at the scene.
2 people are in the hospital. Their injuries are unknown at this time. People are on edge. They want to know what happened. Actually, Portland City Council, they're confirming with us right now that they have recessed their ongoing meeting because of this shooting.
At that meeting,
but needed to pull counselors to get a briefing and an update so that we could ensure that we were prepared to respond.
CBS News special report. I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
And I'm Aaron Granillo in Seattle, where Mayor Katie Wilson is criticizing a federal immigration raid in the city yesterday.
Armed ICE agents in an unmarked vehicle detained 3 North Seattle neighbors at Evergreen Washelli Cemetery. I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power.
She says there is no place for ICE in Seattle, though Wilson acknowledges the city has little authority over the agency. Mayor says she is working with the police chief and the city attorney to, quote, keep the people of Seattle safe. This just in, he is staying on Montlake after all. Days after announcing plans to enter the transfer portal, Washington quarterback Damon Williams says he'll be a Husky next season. In a social media post, Williams says he's, quote, fully committed. Williams had said he wanted out days after signing a contract to play for UW. Today's announcement comes after his agent said he was parting ways with Williams, citing philosophical differences. Takes us to 5:33. Now we go to the real-time traffic desk with Nate Connors.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Let's see. It's continuing to be a busy commute out there. This report brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. Our earlier backups through Federal Way, however, have cleared out now that we cleared that long-term crash that caused them. Seattle to Federal Way, as a matter of fact, is down to 40 minutes. Now, Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, a 45-minute commute. 25 minutes between Renton and Auburn, where it is packed from 405 down to South 277th. North 5 at Denny Way still got a collision in that far left lane. You're backed up bumper to the north end of Boeing Field. In Bellevue, North 405 at Southeast 8th. Collision blocks that left lane. You're backed up to Cold Creek. Renton to Bellevue still hanging on right around a half hour. Westbound 520 at 92nd Avenue. We cleared our collision to the right shoulder, and then our collision at Montlake Boulevard just cleared about a minute ago over to the Gore Point. So all lanes are back open between Bellevue and Seattle, but you're left with a big old backup from essentially 92nd over to I-5. Bellevue to Seattle is at 1 hour right now, 40 minutes on I-90. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing at SubaruPuyallup.com and enjoy a stress-free buying experience at Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Now to your forecast, we are looking at some cloudy skies tonight, but staying dry at least from Snohomish County south. Farther north, we are seeing a few light rain showers tonight, morning showers tomorrow, dry on Saturday. Right now, 46 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
That's nice. Yeah, this hour of the John Curley Show brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. I live on them. They're the greatest. Omega-3, baby.
My goodness. Breaking news. Damon Williams, the quarterback of the University of Washington, is going to stay after all. Spike, you called your shot on this yesterday. I said, much to my own detriment, that I didn't think there was any scenario where he could possibly come back now because of all the negative feelings towards this whole episode. Less than 24 hours later, he's going to be in purple and gold again next year.
Well, here's if you've missed this story, it's a sports story, but this is a huge story because college sports are devolving as money has come into this, the NIL factor of paying players and the free agency of player movement with the transfer portal, where players are allowed to leave universities and chase the money down from these. I mean, and I'm all for players being compensated for the money that the billions that they generate for college athletics. I think there's real value in giving these people who compete in college sports, who put their health, mental and physical health on the line. Very few of them go on to pro careers. An education might not be enough for an industry making billions and billions of dollars. That being said, Williams announces on Friday that he signs a revenue-sharing NIL deal with the University of Washington to the tune of $4 million a year plus.
We're all going to be excited because he's a junior next year, and he's only getting better.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
And we had Mike Salk on, I think it was yesterday afternoon, and he said, look, I don't like what he did, but I can't blame the kid. He's got an opportunity to make big money. What happened was, though, he had signed this deal on Friday, and then on Monday he made this surprise announcement that he was entering the transfer portal because it was estimated he could make a couple $1 million more playing for a different school. Now, the school, which has just signed into this deal, says, we're going to sue you. We're going to sue him for breach of contract.
There might be accusations of tampering.
From other schools have reached out to him. Right. There's a couple cases involved in this in the NCAA right now where players have been tampered with by other universities. But this morning when it was announced that his agent, Williams' agent, was dropping him for philosophical differences.
Yeah, what does that mean? Read between the lines on that.
Well, because when you're an agent representing players, and the agency that represents Damon Williams also represents Coach Fish, the coach at UW, plus several other players on the UW roster and around the Big Ten. And so if an agent represents a player and that player then reneges on a contract that he has signed, then the agent's credibility is garbage. So when this 19-year-old young man, who's probably not got an NFL career in his future, he's a kind of undersized kid. He's 5'11". He's not the 6'3" Cam Ward is when he left Wazoo to go to Miami, who was then a number 1 pick. I don't know if he has that. He may have, but I don't know if he has that kind of NFL earning potential available to him. So it's understandable he would take a $6 million deal instead of a $4 million deal, and he would try to renege on this contract. And the league's going to send, and the university's going to sue the kid over this, or at least his representation. He lawyered up as well. But
if you could inject wild speculation into this, why the about face with it? I mean,
because he became toxic. I think
it became toxic.
He became toxic. Here's a kid whose word isn't of value. And do you want to be the other university, maybe the place that he was guaranteed $2 million more a year, who's now maybe investigated for tampering? That offer's gone now.
Does the fan base just forgive and forget and say, well, as long as the product on the field remains stellar, we don't care about any back and forth or reneging on contracts?
You know what? I would say yes. And full disclosure, I get to work for the University of Washington's athletic department after about 30 years. I work up in the press box during Saturday game days for the Husky football team. So this is a passion thing for me, but I will say this. He's a 19-year-old kid who got terrible advice. Right. Okay, and if this kid can, and I said yesterday, I said, look, this morning I was talking to Jake. I'm like, maybe he pulls a mea culpa. Maybe now that he's, been exposed as a guy who can't keep his word and his agent's bailing on him and he looks like garbage, maybe why doesn't he say, hey, look, I got bad advice. I made a rash decision. I'm 19 years old. I've had a true change of heart. I see the error of my ways.
Yeah.
I want to come back. This is a golden opportunity. I'm going to make $4 million to play football. I love my team. I love our possibilities. Nothing but the upside. And that's what the kid ended up doing. He's done it.
Well, what's pretty wild is the amount of money that is being thrown around teenagers in many cases, and then we expect them to act in an adult way of a seasoned professional who knows how to deal with lawyers and agents and offers.
And here's the thing, as I started this little tirade, I'm like, okay, these universities are making billions. Not universities, but the college football, sports, $1 billion industry, $1 billion industry. These athletes deserve to make a portion of them, to be paid for their services. They invest to some profit sharing in this or something. They got to have, here's what's got to happen, I think, in my mind. Collective bargaining for college players, just like they have for NBA players or Major League Baseball players or NFL players. A union. Because it can't just be the star quarterback and the star wide receiver making money. Because those guys aren't going to get where they're going unless you got, the players you'll never know their names or faces of a football team. The backup players, the practice squads. They're all part of getting this athlete to the point where he is worth this much money. The distribution of funds has to be more evenly spread across all college athletes. The water polo team as well. I mean, I know they're not bringing in the big dollars of revenue, but these are if you're going to pay athletes, make it more equitable for all college athletes.
And if you're just tuning in, it's Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill in for the John Curley Show. The breaking news tonight is that UW sophomore quarterback will, in fact, be returning on Montlake next year after previously saying he was going to enter the transfer portal. It's all a bit disorienting. Will this cause UW fans to dance like nobody's watching? Well, there's an article in the Wall Street Journal that is quite fascinating that I wanted to get your take on, Spike, and offer my 2 cents on as well. Suddenly, everyone is scared to dance at concerts and clubs. More young partygoers are worrying about looking goofy on camera, prompting some artists to wonder if social media is killing dance. This is kind of a funny story to me because I've gone to concerts in the Seattle area for as long as I can remember, 30 plus years or so. And Seattle is sort of famous for being the most stiff audience in the country.
Really?
Like, well, we'll bob our heads and stuff. I think I remember that reputation, and shows I went to were no exception. And now the country, it seems, is doing kind of these less reckless, self-abandoned, emoting dance moves at various shows. Apparently, this is a trend, and social media plays a huge part in it because there's a real risk knowing that everybody is being filmed at all times, that one lapse in judgment or a stupid dance move could go viral, and then that's what you're known for the rest of your life.
Wow, you're going to pull in a lane.
Doesn't that suck? Yeah.
It does
We're
suck.
all that self-conscious now.
Who are you dancing for? You or somebody
The Lord.
else? Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope that the fear of public shaming through social media, which, by the way, is out of control.
It's out of control.
It's completely out of control. Shame on you people. But we all love watching a train wreck, even if it's on a dance floor. So I can't, I don't mean to be hypocritical. When I watch some clam dip who can't dance, I laugh my ass off. We all
funny.
do. It's funny. I hope people don't stop dancing for fear of
Guys
public
getting
shaming.
hit in the junk with a football, funny.
Funny.
Bad dancers,
Right?
funny.
Yes,
I mean,
funny.
you can't help
Yeah.
but giggle. But it is sort of a
They say,
shame.
Dance like nobody's filming. Is that the new mantra?
There's
Right.
just no separation between private and public life anymore.
Nope,
And what
that's
that has
amen,
done
brother.
to the psychology of all of us is kind of a net negative. I feel like you need that separation.
We had a story I saw it in the rundown. We didn't get to it, but dementia. Dancing, they say. The Albert Einstein Medical Institute did a study in the 80s, a 10-year study, 65 to 75-year-olds. Dancing once a week. It reduces the risk of Alzheimer's, or dementia, I should say, by 76%. The cognitive combination of balance, of coordination, of creativity, and socialization greatly reduces the risk of dementia. So dance. Who cares if anybody's watching?
Just blame AI if it gets on social media.
That's not me. I don't have moves like that.
Greg Tallman, Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Yeah, it's brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. It is busy out there. Factoria, westbound 90, just before 405. A collision blocks your right lane. You're stacked up to 150th. We cleared our collision in Bellevue, North 405 at Southeast 8. That was there for a while, so you're backed up to Cold Creek Parkway, Renton to Bellevue, right around a half-hour commute. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, we're down to 45 minutes on both 520 and I-90. It is really thick as you make your way across the lake. We cleared our crash north 5 at Denny Way. That backup starts almost as far back as Mid-Boeing Field, South Center to Seattle, 35 minutes. That's about a 10 to 15 minute delay there. Both directions of I-5 still heavy along South Center. Southbound 405, you're slow from Mid-Bellevue to the Renton Landing. Bellevue to Renton, pushing a half hour. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC February 6th only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist managing high expectations.
Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
The real estate market is picking up and you want to sell with the best. You need to work with the Novak team. Mike Novak guarantees to sell your home in 21 days. If not, he'll sell it for free. Go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell it for you. Meet the Novaks Novaks.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Olympic Hot Tub's New Year, New You event will help put you on a healthier path in 2026. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup of saltwater hot tubs, saunas, cold plunges, and swim spas. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Advanced Hair Restoration, the simple one-day hair loss solution that's guaranteed to regrow your own natural hair. AdvancedHair.com. AdvancedHair.com.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Confidence with winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety can handle rainy commutes and icy roads. Find stress-free pricing and a stress-free experience at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Advanced Hair Restoration.
Tomlin and Spike O'Neill in on the John Curley Show. And
this has been a treat. Thank you so much for indulging me.
Spike, thanks for hanging out. It's only been 6 hours for you on the air straight.
It's not like we're doing real work.
You're just getting warmed up.
I am. I'm going to go home and yell at my wife for 3 hours. It's going to be awesome. No, I'm kidding. She's going to yell at me.
I love chatting with you, my friend. It's always an honor and a privilege to be on the airwaves here on KIRO Radio. And it's always an honor and privilege when we welcome someone into the studio who's got some letters for us.
I'm a mailman. You can see. I'm a mailman to be mess with me. I'm a mailman. Everything know On the mail, bring the mail to you.
To you, dough. Off topic, Tina in the 425 says, hi, fellows. I must say, though I do miss John, the facelift fill-in shows this week have been pretty great.
Oh, thank you, Tina. That's awful sweet. Joe in Stanwood says, gerrymandering in Washington has already happened. Look at the east side districts. They go way north into rural areas. He's not wrong.
And Mike in Portland says, Keith Swank, a Pierce County Sheriff, actually attacked me today on Twitter.
All right,
Ooh.
Mike.
Tell us more, Mike.
Yeah, I wish it was me. I tried. I said some horrible things to him on Twitter. A Warren in Tacoma says, you can only go 25 miles per hour with chains on. That's too slow. Nobody got time for that. Anybody got time for that?
And is it bad to drive with chains on your tires if there is no snow, like
Yes,
on the concrete?
I told you this. It eats through the chains.
It does eat through the chains, yeah.
I destroyed the wheel well of a car.
Oh,
Because I got off the snowpack, didn't take the chains off, just kept driving. I actually forgot that I had chains on. All of a sudden,
On the subject of whether or not darts players are athletes, Eric in Port Townsend says, according to Curley, if you can drink a half gallon of milk prior and then still play, it's not a sport.
That's brilliant. If you can't play defense, it's not a sport. A dart goalie. That's a great,
I was trying to think of exceptions to that rule. Yeah. Matt in Seattle says, there has to be physical exertion to be a sport. Baseball is effectively the cutoff between skills and sports. Anything less taxing than baseball, not a sport.
With regard to series finales, 206 says The Sopranos ending was perfect. The ending was on point. Interesting.
And that's the one where, spoiler alert, he's in like a cafe, right?
Yeah, with the family.
And he's
all
playing
gathering.
Don't Stop Believing on the small jukebox. I've never watched the show, but I've seen that.
The ending? Okay,
the weird part is it cut to black for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, did my TV break?
Yes.
No closure for anyone. You have to insinuate what happens with the ambiguous
and then before
frame.
they could make the movie, which was a speculation at the end of the Sopranos TV series, they're going to make a Sopranos cinematic relief. Mr. Gandolfini passed.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
His son, which was brilliant, by the way.
The 253 says the U.S. version of The Office TV show ended beautifully. I didn't watch it, but I'll take your word for it, 253.
Okay. What am I doing? Tina in Seattle, thank you, Spike. Not many people who communicate the environment issues as clearly as you. Well, that's really sweet. You were one of the few people who see beyond their nose and immediately financial situation to the headlights of the freight train that may very well probably racing towards us at head on. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. As the bureaucrats was this the letter of the day? What the hell? Is this not the letter of the day? As the bureaucrats just speak in bureaucracy, not enough people with passion to convey the potential misery and destruction that may lie ahead. Thank you, Tina, from your iceberg that is quickly melting.
And on the topic of weight loss drugs and the fat jab, Doug in Mount Vernon says bald eagle confrontation. Is this on weight loss drugs?
No,
Maybe
that
it's
must be a
different.
misprint.
How did that get in there, Joe?
Okay.
From Goodfellas, you lose muscle and you can't trick Mother Nature or your liver forever. The fat jab is just another big pharma scam. Some lost a lot of weight but spent half the time nauseous.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
Is there a letter of the day?
I think we just pick one at random here.
Did you not? Is that you don't have one?
No.
Neither of you?
No.
All right, I'll read it for you.
Please do. Please do.
Carol in the 425 says, thanks for keeping the seat warm, guys, and thanks for the smiles on a tough news day. P.S. You should always dance like nobody's watching and live life like you're having a great time.
Hear, hear.
And with that, we are having a great time. Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
I hate that printer so
Didn't
much.
write no more.
I'm going to shoot that thing.
She left the glove.
Appreciate you being here. It's Greg Tallman and Spike O'Neill. And on the John Curley Show, your favorite facelift fill-ins will be right back. For now, let's send it on over to Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Here I am, eastbound 90 on the East Channel Bridge heading into Bellevue. We've got a collision blocking the right lane. You're backed up to Island Crest Way. Heading west into Seattle across the lake from Bellevue. 45 minutes on both 520 and I-90. So 520, your backup starts at Bellevue Way. I-90, your backup starts at Island Crest Way. South Center to Seattle is a 35-minute commute. You got a thick backup from Mid-Boeing Field up to Mercer due to an earlier collision that recently cleared. Linwood to Seattle, a half hour. Got a pretty good backup going on through Linwood and then again from Northgate down to I-90. Northbound 99 through Seattle is packed through the downtown tunnel. And southbound 405 still slow from, we'll call it South Bellevue down to the Renton Landing. It is thinning out, though. Bellevue to Renton, we're down to a 25-minute drive. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO News Radio app.
John Curley here. As humans, we value things that last. Local businesses, long-term relationships, people who have been in the community for years. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. For decades, they've been serving Washingtonians, and what makes them different? They combine taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms do one or the other, but not both. Taxes are often your biggest retirement expense, bigger than travel or healthcare. Yet most never get a clear look at how taxes and investments fit together. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis. It's an easy-to-understand review of your retirement picture, income, taxes, investments, all working together in one coordinated plan. Best of all, it's conversational. You'll talk with someone who explains it all in plain English. Discover hidden tax traps, see if your portfolio matches income needs, and learn steps to retire with confidence. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs, local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. Last year, the big news, obviously, was the accomplishment of the big, beautiful bill, but that also comes with some big, beautiful changes to the IRS.
There are some big, beautiful changes going on, and so many of those changes in the big, beautiful bill impact 2025. There's definitely some big spiffs in there for the ordinary working person. One thing that I'm really disappointed in is the way that things have been communicated in regards to the Social Security. It is still going to be taxed. It's not like it's not going to be taxed, but it will be, for most people, a reduction in the amount of tax.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
And so we are set.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Seattle is going to win this football game. A single-season franchise record of 14 wins. The 4th #1 seed in franchise history.
Reaction.
Just incredibly proud of them.
Conversation.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com and the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration, benefiting local breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Get your tickets now for January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
No heat, electrical issues, frozen pipes, no power? John Curley here, recommending you call Home Comfort Alliance. For over 40 years, doing heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical right, including standby generators. Call the comfort people at homecomfortalliance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1 to